Hello everyone, hope you're having a good weekend. Welcome to Tinfoil Saturday. We're going to go ahead and take a look at conspiracy nonsense today. Everything from Peter's newest video to people talking about Ukraine in some pretty disrespectful, stupid ways. And a super secret space program that has space marines. So we have a lot of stuff to make fun of today. It'll be a good one. Let's see what I missed. Nick with 45 bits. I think that was the first bits of the stream so far. Let me go back and check. Looks like it. Nick says, at what point does Mike Lindell become a danger to himself, others, or is otherwise declared incompetent? If we're talking colloquially, I would say I already think he's incompetent. If we're talking legally, that's probably not going to happen. But we'll check out this video in a minute. DM Trey, thanks for 22 months, says, it's crazy that you've done this for almost 2 years. I know, right? Doesn't feel like it. Mike Pillow, how's he doing? Not great. At CPAC, he was getting asked about the documents he had taken into the White House talking about, like, martial law. And these were his responses. He's, not liking to ask questions. Trans Girl Jade, thanks for subscribing with Prime. Almost a hype train started. Same rules apply today as always. We're doing bingo, and if we get to level 5 of a hype train, I'll do all the tinfoil clothes and stuff.
Fisher will go down in history of helping save this country.
Who gave you the papers?
Who gave me the papers? That's none of your business. A bunch of lawyers did. I've never read them. Hold it. I've never read them. I went in there with evidence on January 15th. You guys are old news. You regret.
He just decided to take papers to the President of the United States. He didn't read them first to see that they were full of criminal activity. Bumble Homestead with 200 bits says, I'm getting several of your Tinfoil Saturday cases mixed up. I wonder how y'all keep them straight sometimes. Hey, it's tough, but it's my job. Steve with a Q with 100 bits says, too bad tinfoil is actually aluminum, otherwise you could call it Snifoil Saturday or SN Foil Saturday. 90% to level 1.
Regurgitating old news. January 15th, I went in there with 4 papers that shows dominion and the election crime of the machines in China and attacking our country. That
board, I'm gonna say that's word salad. Listen to that again.
of the machines in China attacking our country, cyber attack, all 50 states, over 12 million votes that Donald Trump won by.
I'll say word salad. Meek with 45-bit says, will TJ Kirk be featured on Tinfoil Tuesday? He's been on a terrible rant the past couple of days with Ukraine. Oh god, has he? TJ. Sky Helmet Fallen says, Mike Pillow, the guy who went from smoking crack to huffing copium. And MW1642 with 100 bits gets us over level 1 of the hype train. Thanks very much.
82 million to 68 million was the real count.
Who gave you the papers?
I just said a whole.
There's only a few days left of the month, and we've yet to reach our new sub goal. So, if you're feeling generous, consider gifting subs to people.
A bunch of lawyers did. I've never read them.
Did
they
you
were
ever
separate.
discuss martial law with President Trump?
No.
And why were you carrying those papers?
I just told you, but you didn't listen. Why don't you go back and watch your own rotten news? You guys are the worst journalists. That picture will go down in history of helping save this country.
Who gave you the...
Good lord. And then he doesn't like being asked questions anymore, and he just starts a chant, which seems creepy. Blackwing Hecate says, time to eat some nummy chicken tendies and watch Hannah. I hope they're good. Miss K's with 300 bits. Neemsor Kolboth, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Much appreciated.
Journalists are traitors. CBS, Robert Koska is a traitor to the United States of America. No, you're a traitor. This is old news. You're regurgitating. You care about, why do you protect a company called Dominion and you attack a company called My Pillow? You're a traitor to our country. You're
52% to level 3.
Disgusting traitor.
Chance and tribalistic behavior are kind of all these people have, huh? Kirthan says, it's my birthday this coming Monday, gonna be 26, but it feels more like 86. Well, happy almost birthday. Transgirl Jade with 100 bits says, hey Hannah, first time catching live, just want to say hi and thank you for being part of what helped me realize I'm trans. Much love from Sydney, let's watch some crazy. Well, I'm glad you could make it. Welcome to the stream. Can this be lined between Chud and Tinfoil Thins? Yeah.
Traitor! You're disgusting! CBS, you're one step above Fox, who doesn't talk at all. That's what you guys are. He's asking me about the picture at the White House a year ago. You're disgusting.
You won't tell me the lawyers who gave
You're
it to you.
disgusting.
Why won't you
You're
do it?
disgusting. You're disgusting. Are you a communist? You're disgusting.
Are you a communist? Good effing lord. Nandy Owl says, surprised he even goes out. Guess Frank's speech isn't giving enough views anymore. I guess not. Oh, Transgirl Jade, thank you so much for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. It's your first stream and you gifted a bunch of subs. That's so kind of you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Is this Marxism, socialism, communism, but totally isn't for... Yes. We got a lot of bingo stuff from that, like, 2-minute video. Now we're at 69 new gifted subs. Nice. Bummel Homestead says, these people are frighteningly stupid. I know, right? Roman Civilian with 1,000 bits says, here's a big shout out for providing some entertainment in these times. Well, thank you very much. Blackwing Hecate says, Serrano was good, but A, sad, and B, made me wish my girlfriend was with me. I'm sorry. Reef Botany says, high as fuck. Level 4 complete. Hydrate. Okay. 19% to level 5. Oh boy. Okay, so like I said, we have Peter. We have some people saying that the Russia-Ukraine situation is something about the New World Order. We have Flat Earthers fighting with each other because they got beef. Gayesh with 100 bits says, you're rad. You're rad. This person thinks everyone is going to get AIDS. This is also about the Ukraine thing. Lots of conspiracy theorists are talking about the Ukraine thing. Surprise. This guy is affiliated with that QAnon cult going on in Texas, and he thinks Little Nas X has been executed. Mr. Fred Rogers, thanks for 6 months, says, 6 months, my sub-baby is going to be so far past due that 1 C-section might not be enough. Hydrate. There's the guy that's the moose guy. There's Martin Cabello, or I don't know how to pronounce his name. And then, of course, we have the other thing that's in the title. Where's the specific video I wanted to watch? Super Soldier Talk. Captain Randy Kramer. Secret Space Disclosures. This is a group of people that believe they're part of a secret super soldier program that sent them to space. So we'll hear them talk about their escapades in space. That'll be fun. Nick with 45-bit says, so fun fact, Charlotte's new MLS team has abbreviation CLT. That abbreviation was a choice. Sky Comet Fallen says, throw him in a cage, make it globe-shaped. 42% to level 5. Looks like we're probably going to get to level 5 today. Mezzy Star, thanks for continuing your gift sub. Appreciate it. We're at 70 new subs. Nice. Nice. We should have them talk to Flurfs, you know. I'm going to start getting this stuff on because it looks like we're probably going to get to level 5. Don't let me down, chat. We're at 59%. Oh, someone tipped anonymously with $7, said, don't watch much on stream, but have been following for a while on YouTube. Thanks for doing what you do and keep up the good work. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. That's the McDonald's thing that they used to do. I don't even know if that's still the thing they do. Roland says, finally catching one of these live instead of YouTube. Nice, nice. Uh, 62% to level 5. Blackwing Hecate says, reminds me of that church sports team that's initialed to CLI and then they added a cross at the end because they were worried people wouldn't know they were Christian. Sky Comet Fallen, thanks for gifting a tier 1 sub. 79% to level 5. With a minute left, we're very close. If this train dies, then so does a fairy. Somewhere a fairy dies. And none of that Peter Pan clapping shit's gonna save her, okay? Bubble Homestead says, ba-da-da-da-da, I'm foiling it. Nick! Thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Very generous. And that gets us to level 5. We did it. It's done. We hath done it. Now we're foiled up. Oh, Monster Jr. Also, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. 164% to level 5. Radical. Looking good. Speaking of McDonald's, oh god, what's this? Oh, the song. I've seen this.
On McDonald's is Sega gives life. Jail soccer. Sonic skateboard. Rope and Emmy tennis. Dream puff flower catch. Shadow basketball. Knuckles baseball. G-Burger फिर खेलें.
See, I don't think Shadow could play basketball. It's too much of a team sport. He's too edgy for team sports. Okay, so we're going to hold off on Peter for a little bit, give other people a chance to sort of, you know, come into the stream over time, and we'll start with some of the other stuff, shall we? What are we going to start with? How about this? Okay, so I want to start this off by just prefacing by saying, hey, what's going on in Ukraine and Russia invading? Not cool, obviously. Also not funny. A lot of people are unfortunately getting hurt and losing their lives over a stupid conflict being put forward by just an absolutely terrible person. So I'm not going to take this lightly. However, I do think it's appropriate to point out that people, unfortunately, in this case conspiracy theorists, use global events, like what's going on in Ukraine, to bolster their already believed nonsense conspiracy theories. So, let's take a look at this guy and maybe some others, and their various conspiracy theories involving Ukraine. Let's check it out.
This is Dapu-7. I want to take a look at this big admission that was just made by the U.S. government, admitting that this war that is unfolding around Ukraine will determine who will run or rule the New World Order. Now, that word has a sigil attached to it, pretty much just like the word conspiracy theory, to where
Yes, people usually make fun of people who use New World Order because they're using it in a nefarious conspiracy theory context, and the reason conspiracy theory got such a bad rap is because conspiracy theories, as we understand them colloquially, are the domain of crazy people. They're the domain of people who are not right, are not doing well, and have come to ridiculous conclusions based on preconceived ends that they wish to get to. So they get all sorts of nonsense, non-evidence together to conform to what they already believe. In this case, that there's a secret cabal of people controlling the world in order to try and form a new world order, government, whatever nonsense. There's a reason there's a stigma attached to these phrases. Empty the Tank says, "Great to see you, Hannah. News about Russia and Ukraine really has me down." I know. It's really, really sad. The volume is really low. I can turn it up more, probably, but I thought I'd turn it up. Zealous55, thanks for 15 months, says, "I can't think of anything fun to say. Hannah's dope." And R90 Owl says, "It's quite telling to see who is pro-Russian in this, or maybe not that telling." Yeah.
when you hear it, you're thinking, well, this is very real, though. The days for turning a cheek to this stuff are over. I don't hear them calling the first George Bush a conspiracy theorist when he was calling for a new world order.
This is the thing conspiracy theorists who believe in the New World Order stuff often latch on to. So, George Bush Sr., when he was in office in the 90s, there was a particular speech he did from the Oval Office where he used the phrase New World Order. But what he was referring to was not some secret shadowy cabal, but it was basically global American democracy and American-style capitalism becoming the default governmental style for the entire globe. This was right after the fall of the Soviet Union. You gotta remember, in like 89, Soviet satellite states were starting to break off. Communism, global communism, had basically fallen on the world stage, and it was assumed by a lot of people, you can look at books like The End of History for this side of mindset, naively people believed that effectively democracy and capitalism had won, and everything was going to be good for everyone forever. Again, The End of History being a book that kind of goes over this, and it's titled The End of History because they thought basically all important global events had already happened. Very naive. But anyway, so when George W. Bush Sr., or George Bush Sr., not George W. Bush, sorry, George H.W. Bush, when he was in office, he was talking about a new world order of global democracy and capitalism becoming the standard, not some sort of evil cabal thing.
In 1,000 points of light. 10 years before they brought down towers. Now they're saying that...
Oh, he's a 9/11 conspiracy theorist, true. That's nice. It's not nice. I really don't like 9/11 conspiracy theorists because it tips the hand for conspiracy theorists that this has never been about finding truth for them. Because if there's any time conspiracy theorists should have been able to go with the mainstream narrative, it's 9/11, because 9/11 was literally a conspiracy. It was a conspiracy by Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden to fly planes into the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, and I believe the one that was taken down by the passengers was intended for the White House. The point being, that was a real conspiracy that Al-Qaeda did. But because that's understood by everyone, or at least most people, they can't accept that as the conspiracy that actually happened, and instead they have to make up a whole bunch of other stuff about the American government doing it. It's really annoying. Conspiracy theories aren't about... Oh, it was the Capitol building. My apologies. For these people, conspiracy theories are very rarely about actually trying to find the truth. It's about feeling special and smart for knowing some sort of secret information that is incomprehensible or hidden from everyday normies, basically. It's about feeling better than other people.
This side with Moscow and China is a very liberal type of ideology.
Did he just say Moscow and China are liberal ideologies?
In that if they win, that's going to be what is pushed globally. The United States basically saying that that has to be stopped. Obviously, they don't want that. They want another way to come about, but from what...
So presumably he thinks China and Russia are good guys in this scenario. Yikes.
We know, if you've read any of the books by Manly P. Hall, any of the books talking about the destiny of America, what the Masons and all these guys behind the curtain know.
Freemasons on the bingo card.
This place was built to be destroyed, just like other things that I've already mentioned, and to basically replicate Atlantis. It was as the new Atlantis, and what happened to Atlantis? It got destroyed. It was...
Of course, we plan to destroy America like Atlantis and sink it into the ocean to become a parable for Plato? Cool. Wait, was it Plato? Was Atlantis Plato, or am I thinking of someone else? For those who don't know, Atlantis was never intended, even by the writer of the story of Atlantis, to be a real place. It was a parable that Plato wrote in order to get ideas across. It wasn't meant to be a real story. It would be like someone watching, I don't know, what's a good example? It would be like someone watching Star Wars and assuming it was real life just because it was a story that a culture told and was important to American popular culture. You know what I'm saying? It would be like assuming, like the aliens from Galaxy Quest, that because someone tells a story, it must be true. Atlantis was not a real place. Nick says, is Manly P. Hall from the U.S., i.e. Manly P. Hall? I have no idea.
Was brought down. This has all been by design. There are books written on it. It's not a secret where they're taking this. Enter the Dragon on the world stage.
Bruce Lee?
Now, they're going to have you think here that two factions are going to be dueling it out, regardless, as they're putting it out here. The U.S. government saying that whoever wins this is going to be controlling the New World Order. There are bits of truth to this.
Okay, no. So what Russia's doing is very bad. It's very, very bad, for the record. I wouldn't say that citing fiction as fact. He didn't say a specific thing. Actually, no, you're right. Atlantis, sure, cites fiction as fact. Randy Owl says, behold, Atlantis. It's only a model. Shh. Anyway, what I was saying was, what Russia's doing is very bad and indicative of some really strange thinking on the part of Vladimir Putin, in my opinion. I don't know what he's trying to do right now. I don't know if I've even discussed this on stream, but it seems like even if he succeeds in taking over Kyiv and succeeds in installing a puppet government in Ukraine, I don't know what his endgame is. I understand that he wants to stop the expansion of NATO, but, like, the sanctions that are going to be placed upon him and Russia in general are so crippling that it doesn't seem worth whatever endgame he's going towards. I don't know. Either way, maybe I'm wrong for assuming he's a rational actor in this situation, and I shouldn't assume that. But, it's not any sort of New World Order thing. This is not, and I get it, I understand people being concerned about a power like Russia expanding into sovereign territories and making comparisons to the lead up to, like, World War II with Germany and Poland. I understand. I don't believe that is necessarily Russia's aim. I could be wrong. This could age very badly. But I don't believe that this is any sort of, like, New World Order bullshit thing. It's Russia flexing themselves and trying to resorb ex-Soviet bloc nations in order to consolidate power and intimidate nations from becoming NATO members, which doesn't even make sense considering this is going to spur more countries into wanting to join alliances like NATO to protect them from invasions, but whatever. Putin's gonna Putin.
But you have to look deeper. Who has been basically funding the other side? The same hand. Since the Bolshevik Revolution, Russia's been controlled. Since the days of Mao, Rothschild has been funding China when they went in and took all the guns from all the people and murdered.
I'm gonna go, what's the one? Like, subtle anti-Semitism? Covert anti-Semitism on the bingo card? Prokagam said, thinly veiled, that's what it's called. Prokagam says, it seems the only way to really hurt Russia's economy is to stop buying fuel from them, and I really don't know if Western powers are willing to do that long term. I agree. That's why getting on to renewable energy sources is so important, but unfortunately, the powers that be in the United States seem very against that.
Murder tens of millions? Yeah, Rothschild money there. Henry Kissinger is a main handler of Xi Jinping. Look it up. These are facts. And we already know. They want to put the dragon on main display. That's why they...
Nick says, is it bad I called thinly veiled anti-Semitism before he even said it? No, you're just catching on to these people's patterns.
Put them in the IMF basket, and they have allowed this advancement every step of the way. And in the meantime...
I guarantee you the IMF does not want Russia to invade Ukraine. This is bad for economies everywhere. Any conspiracy theorist who claims like the IMF or any sort of capitalist-minded monetary fund or individual is pushing for an invasion of Ukraine has no idea what they are talking about, because this is destabilizing markets, and that's not good for people with money. It's not good for people without money either, but the point I'm trying to make is that would not be a strategically advantageous move for anyone who's trying to make money.
Downfall of America happening right in front of your face as they taunt you and surround that White House with a fence and then pull out your National Guard and all this other stuff.
You're talking about what happened after January 6th? National Guard and fences went up because, again, a bunch of people broke into the Capitol building and attacked people there and were attempting to kidnap and or kill members of Congress. That's a reason for extra security, don't you think?
Yeah, they're...
Sky Comet Fallen says, my state, Ohio, has banned Russian vodka. It's being pulled from shelves. I say take that stock and use it to start a bonfire of other Russian goods. No, you didn't miss Peter. Everyone's asking about Peter. No, you didn't miss Peter yet.
Taking this a place that is not good for an American unless people rise to the occasion and try to do something. Now, here is the big thing. If it can get any bigger than all this. Well, we've got what they're trying to say is the beginning of a global war. World War III, many are citing and saying this. Whether you believe it or not, or whether you want to call it that.
Hydrate.
They're stating they just gave Joe Biden an arsenal of tools. Come on, give me a break. To attack Russia. But then they say that means Russia's going to strike us back. It's a guarantee, and that we're not ready for it.
Wait, what powers did he think Biden didn't already have to act on behalf of the United States government as its commander-in-chief? He's already the commander-in-chief. They literally carry around a nuclear football with him everywhere in case some sort of horrible, like, first strike scenario happens. Anywhere he is in the world, what power do you think he was just granted? What is he talking about? Is he talking about economic sanctions? Because those are things, again, the United States already has the power to do. What are you talking about?
Then why would you ever attack them? Dude, this is a setup beyond setups that you've ever seen. I've warned all these years out here that you better be ready for the day that the lights go out. They have set the stage. We are right there. And as soon as they start doing things involved with cyber attacking and shutting down Russia, which I feel has already begun, as I speak, their government websites are down.
Yeah, that's because they keep getting hacked by, you know, hackers under the guise of anonymous, which is fun. I like when people do that shit. So for those who don't know, there isn't necessarily a centralized organization called Anonymous. It's just a guise through which any white hat hacker can call themselves in order to do some sort of good. So, they've basically been trying to, I don't know if they're just DDoSing or if they're doing some other thing that I have no idea about, but they're trying to take down different Russian websites. If I remember correctly, recently they also somehow got a database from a Russian something or other involving the military. But yeah, they're getting cyber attacked.
Being hacked. You've had the alleged Anonymous out there that's siding with the U.S. government, hand in hand with all the alphabet gangs right now, really showing a hand there. You better beware of the accounts that you follow out there. You better beware. Because this is a staged event designed to put us on our ass in the end. I'm warning you. Lights out cyber attacks, whether it's hospitals, water supplies, it doesn't matter. They're coming. The writing's on the wall in blood at this point. Soon as they go full scale, and it may even happen before then, something's going to happen here in the United States.
Yeah, false flag on the bingo card.
You have to be a moron not to see it. The stage is set to blame who? Russia. Already.
Yeah, that'll happen when you invade another sovereign nation unprovoked.
So all those seeds are planted. Something big's gonna go down, and if they bring down
Something big's gonna go down. Like Russia invading one of its neighbors?
the United States.
Trans Girl Jade says, White Hat, they must be working with the aliens. Peter noises intensify. Sky Cup Fallen says, I hate to be that person, but all hacktivists are technically considered gray hats because they're doing illegal activity without consent. Sure. I picked up lingo from Peter. It's a disease.
Do cyber attack, EMP, handful of different mechanisms. China and Russia automatically, by default, advance. All here on this world stage as they play out their theaters of war. You wonder why they call it that? Look, I'm going to break this down further.
Let's find out. I'm assuming he's implying that he thinks it's all fake. Theater of war. The first known use of theater of war was in 1703. I'd like to know the etymology, please. Boom, 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 no. In warfare, a theater, or theatre, is an area in which important military events occur or are progressing. A theater can include the entirety of airspace, land, and sea that the area that is or may be potentially involved in operations. In his book on war, Karl von Clausewitz defines the term Kriegstheater, translates the older 17th century Latin term theatrum belli as one that, quote, denotes properly such as a portion of the space over which war prevails has its boundary protected, and thus possesses a kind of independence. This protection may consist of the fortress or important natural obstacles, presented by the country, or even it's being separated by, basically you get the idea. It's called a theater of war because we understand a theater to be a area on which a narrative takes place, and considering a war or a skirmish to be a narrative, a place in which things happen in a specific area. I don't know. That kind of makes sense to me. Blackwing Hecate says, can we put these people in a black box regardless of the color hats they wear? Andrew Dickerson with 10 months says, imagine the relentless anxiety these poor dipshits must have like 24/7. I couldn't imagine being more miserable. I know, right? Tucker White says, Theater of War sounds like a kick-ass name for a punk band if I've ever heard one.
For what it really is. Because people keep falling back asleep and falling into the rabbit holes, and they can't seem to come back out of them. Last night on the live stream, we talked about what Moscow and Russia just rolled out. Moscow 2030, a fully digital city controlled by AI. Did you know that? Who does that go in line with? The World Economic Forum, and as I showed last night, Vladimir Putin shaking hands with Klaus Schwab. Here on
Cloud Wizard says, Hannah, don't you know that the words only ever have one meaning?
this world stage. Join me on the next live stream where I break this down further. Going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Is this guy doing a voice? Like, is he trying to sound like this? Is he trying to sound like a cool hacker?
On DLive, you'll find links below, and hit that subscribe button for more. This is Illuminati.
Did he just call himself Illuminati? Tucker White with a link.
This is literally too dumb for me to care about.
Understandable. But he has a whole channel. I recently just found this, so I'm sure we'll see more from this weirdo in the future. Either way, it's frustrating seeing conspiracy theorists take whatever their pet conspiracy theory is and try and apply it to global conflict like this, in which actual real-world people are suffering and dying. It's messed up. But that's conspiracy theorists for you. Anyway, moving on. Meek says, has your fur child established dominance over his sisters? He's trying. He's trying. Alright, let's look at the bingo cards real quick, because we've got a bunch so far. Oh, shoot. I didn't clear this off from last time. Let me clear it off real quick before we fill it back up. We had word salad. Okay, let's see. Illuminati Freemasons. The line between Shudwatch and Tinfoil Tuesday thins. This is Marxism, Socialism, Communism, but totally isn't. Believe sci-fi tech actually exists with the AI comment. Page 2. I'm gonna have to clear this one off too. The spurious, does theater of war count as spurious symbology? I'm gonna say no. I should probably add another space that's just like uses like wrong definition of word to, or etymology of word to do something. I don't know. Did we have flat Earth already? I don't think so. $72 false flag. Yep. Science fiction is fact. Anonymous forge. No, because we brought up Anonymous. He didn't. 87, thinly veiled anti-Semitism. I think that's maybe it. It's flat Earth or gravity is buoyancy. Flat Earth as in a flat earther or someone who thinks gravity isn't real and thinks it's buoyancy. Deep state. No one said deep state. They said Illuminati. Someone said do your own research earlier. Can anyone corroborate that? Did he bring them up too? Okay. Where's deep state on here? I need a key for my key that tells me where all the things are. 49. Okay. The deep state. He said look it up. I'll count it. I guess that's close enough. Alright, let's see what's next. Let's do one other thing, and then we'll probably do PETA. How about this guy? This is a guy named Sean Speaks. He seems to believe that he was involved in something called the Secret Space Force or Secret Space Agency or something. He believes in a lot of woo-woo nonsense. So let's take a look at one of his videos called Artificial Intelligence, Spiritual Warfare, Time Travel, and End Times Prophecy.
Live earlier and was just talking about whatever really. But then we started talking about artificial intelligence, so I thought maybe that'd be a good place to start talking about AI. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions, by the way, I mean, I'm just sort of flowing with it. Just ask me anything you want while we're talking, and if I know it or if I know anything about it, I'll talk about it. Hi, Blunsart. So I want to quickly talk about artificial intelligence for a moment. So somebody asked me on the last live about down in October, and I said, well, we all knew it was coming, didn't we? We knew the lot. You know, we've done our best to help people. Hopefully by now people should realise that we should just be focusing on our friends and family and doing what we can where we can. But obviously if people aren't, you know, if they're not tuned into what's going on now, they probably never will be. So you just have to let people be them and you be you, etc. And they're saying, well, when, like, but if they try and put us in another, I think there might be a bit of a pushback. There'll either be a pushback or people will just submit and bend over and allow them to be walked all over by the boot, which is the... So it's hard to say what's going to happen, but I said when they start using, that's when there's going to be, well, it's going to be carnage because, well, basically we know that there's typically guard, which is the building blocks for nanotech.
I gotta find a different video from him because it keeps skipping. Just unfortunate. No, we'll do the other one. How about this one? Where did it go? This is something similar. This is from a channel called Super Soldier Talk. This guy believes he is a whistleblower from the Secret Space Service or Secret Space Agency. He thinks he was like a space marine on Mars. He thinks he's a super soldier. So let's hear what he has to say.
A comment about your regeneration beds.
Sure, the Holobed project is, we're still in a planning stage. So my chief engineer and my business partner and I are in the, call it a final stage of venture capital that...
Believe sci-fi technology is real on the bingo card.
Should get taken care of sometime this year. So that's about all. I don't necessarily want to say a bunch more than that until we have more to talk about, but let's just say that it is a project that continues to slowly, you know, move along. We've been having issues mostly over the last few years getting venture capitalists to take the project seriously without an immediate short-term return on investment, which is what most everybody wants. But
do you think it might be the fact that you go into the presentation and explain you got the idea while you were on Mars? Because that's probably going to put people off. Maybe don't mention Mars.
Kind of have to tell people that to develop something like this at the R&D phase, like no one's going to make any money from that. So people have to be willing to support the project without getting paid back right away.
Okay, I'll go ahead and propose a new thing to venture capitalists right now. I'm going to invent a water-powered generator. That's all it is. And no, it's not just a hydrogen fuel cell. It's just it's just gonna directly use water and you put it in and it runs a thing. How does it work? Well, that's what your money's for R&D. Do you only want to make money in the short term? This'll make billions. You see why that doesn't work? You need to have a plan to show that you can actually execute your concept. Otherwise, anyone could just say anything. It's like Theranos or Juicero.
Because that's just not how this part of the project works. The manufacturing phase is when people get paid back. So,
is it possible that maybe very wealthy individuals can purchase time in the regen bed to re-age themselves to help fund the project?
Well, we're certainly open to discussing that possibility. But at this point, the people that we've talked to who've wanted to drop, as individuals who've wanted to drop large chunks of funding, don't just want time in the hollow bed, they want one of their own, and that's not an option.
Will the
For those who don't know, one of his claims is that on Mars and in these, like, galactic space battles that they were having, they would sometimes get caught in, like, time loops and different sort of things. So they're actually hundreds of years old, but they would continually de-age them using different technologies, sci-fi technologies, including this bed. So what he's claiming here is that he has a bed that can reverse aging, literally.
Medbed be able to regenerate, say, eye tissue or
anything. Can regenerate anything. Eye tissue, ear tissue, brain tissue, skin tissue, organ tissue.
Can we see it? No? That's suspicious.
Internal organ tissue, like, I mean, anything and everything. It was originally...
Did I see the video of a YouTuber who infiltrated this group and they believed his made-up story? Yeah, that's how I found this channel. Tucker White says, this guy is so...
It's dull! 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 My God, it's dull! It's...
an Arcturan technology that we were purchasing from them until we could develop it ourselves, until we could essentially replicate the manufacturing ourselves. So when I was in the military, a lot of the holobed units that we used were actually manufactured off-world. They weren't necessarily ones that we make, but we definitely understand the manufacturing process now that we make our own for covert military space program activities, which is separate than what we're trying to do as a civilian operation to build them.
Can you become younger than 21?
You technically can be, but it's a technology that we're not going to want to do that with people, because in our test studies or special section within the test studies on such technology find that when you age reversed someone or recondition them to back when they're in their teens or their 20s, they tend to, you have a percentage anyway of people who go through that process who tend to start behaving like irresponsible adolescents again. So we kind of...
He thought through this scam, in my opinion. Blackwing Hecate says, can it send us back to earlier A, Tanner stages, or B, Alden stages? I don't get it.
I don't want to heap upon giving people a reason to behave more irresponsibly by looking in the mirror and going, woo, I'm 21 again, let's start drinking. And then people start reliving the mistakes of their 20s because they think they're in their 20s again, which they kind of are.
Why would it matter? You have a magic bed that can de-age people. They can't damage their liver, just put them back in the bed. What's the issue?
So, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee that people are going to act in their best maturity and all of a sudden be a mature person in a 21-year-old body. They tend to become immature people in 21-year-old bodies. So our policy will not be to age reverse people pretty much, you know, under 40. This particular...
Fuck you! I want to be... Oh, God. I'd probably stick around 25. I'm 27 right now. I'm turning 28 on the 12th. 24, 25 is probably where I'd stick.
Technology uses your genetic profile and restores cellular tissue to your genetic profile. It doesn't alter your genetic profile or give room to change your genetics at all. It uses your...
Actually, okay, here's what I'd probably do. I don't care about his solutions. I'd probably go back to just before puberty, then get on hormones when I'm much younger, so I have more success with my HRT stuff, grow up to like 25, then stick around 25.
Your own genetic profile and will cause the cells in your body to simply conform and recondition themselves to your own genetic profile. So no purple hair. You can dye it purple, but can't make it that way.
Blackwing Hecate says, I can't speak for other trans women, but I'd like to. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Just for fun. Not using this tech.
So, would you ever consider possibly doing a collab with Jared Rand and one of his medbed technologies, or maybe work?
I mean, I've listened to him. I mean, I was in a conference call not too long listening to him discuss his, what he's calling it, the consciousness chamber, something like that. I think, I mean, we're just, as far as his project and my project, we're dealing with fairly non-congruent technologies, so I'm not sure how they would work together, to be honest with you. His unit seems to be a standalone unit, and so more power to him to be able to make that work. And our unit is...
I like that there's two separate grifters. They're grifters in my opinion. Everything I say here is my opinion. It's interesting to me that there are two grifters in this space, both claiming to have sort of de-aging beds, and they probably both know that the other is lying, but they can't outright say that to each other, because then it would lead to people being like, well, why would you think it's fake? He knows it's fake because he knows his is fake, but he can't say that. So now they have to tiptoe around each other and act like they're both like, yeah, he's a colleague.
Is scalable to mean we'll be able to make it different sizes. So yeah, I just don't think that his technology and my technology are congruent necessarily to warrant collaboration. Special section medical personnel have this technology and some even more advanced things that they can do to restore cellular tissue in the body and heal people from different things, but they definitely have working versions of this, yeah. They wouldn't be able to use any units that they have right now because they're signed on to secrecy agreements that would create a violation of the Espionage Act for them to do that. So if anybody on the command staff, anybody in the intelligence staff, anybody in the medical staff handed me a schematic, a blueprint, a piece of technology, we'd all be in violation of the Espionage Act. But
you can apparently go on the internet and talk about it all you want. You just can't actually prove any of the things you're saying. Tiger White says, but wait, if everything you say here is your opinion, then how is, quote, everything I say here is my opinion, unquote, an opinion? Yeah, it's all an opinion, even that it's my opinion. It's recursive.
Because I'm developing, essentially reverse engineering this from the point of view of a civilian company, we can slide through the loophole, as it were, of not having to worry about the Espionage Act because no one's technically handing me a piece of classified information, which is what would happen if someone handed me a blueprint, a schematic, or a piece of hardware to replicate.
That also applies to any kind of photos, because some people are requesting proof.
Good for them. I mean, you know.
What a good attitude to have when you're called out on being full of shit. Do you have any proof? People are asking for proof. Good for them.
People can request proof all that they want until we have a civilian prototype to show people, you know, yeah, then people don't get to see proof. Sorry. That's the way it works. But, you know, once we've got a civilian prototype, believe me, people will know we've got it because we'll make it work.
Okay, great. Can you comment on, because you've talked about your experiences on Mars. Was Mars the only planet that you were stationed on, or did you have any other experiences perhaps on the moon?
I mean, I've did training on the moon, been back and forth to the moon a few times, but didn't really live there, wasn't really stationed there.
The moon's more like the moon's it's not a destination. It's like a rest stop, you know?
Was stationed on Mars in the MDF and stationed on a ship when I was a pilot. And have, you know, been around the solar system, but never really lived or been stationed on another planet or another satellite.
What is the name of the moon base?
Luna Operations Command.
That's uncreative.
What I can remember of it being inside of it, it's a pretty big facility. It's multiple levels. I remember going up and down an elevator, you know, multiple levels, multiple floors to go to.
How did they deal with the lower gravity and the lack of atmosphere and the fact that it's the fucking moon? Tucker White says, dear fuck, how long is this video? Hannah, do us a favor and... Go fuck yourself. I get to decide what we're watching.
The different sections. What I thought was interesting about it was I was expecting to see all of this super modern, high-tech construction and hardware, like it was all, you know, built from the future, when the truth is it's all built decades in the past, and so you actually have some sections that appear pretty old. So when I had to sign my contract in the admin section, there was lots of this faded, worn, yellow carpet and lots of these sort of mustard yellow and avocado green.
I find it a little hard to believe they'd have carpeting on the moon. I just don't know. It costs so much money to get any sort of cargo into space, and they're wasting money on carpet? And if you get a carpet, then you need a vacuum to clean the carpet. So you're telling me they're spending millions of dollars to not only get carpets up to the moon, but also vacuums for the carpets?
Furniture, like you would if you...
We already had a word salad, but sure. Roland7 says, I would have named the moon base Mars Colony 7 for OPSEC.
If you're old enough and you remember a dentist's office or a doctor's office in the 70s, and you remember that furniture and you remember that color carpet, then you know that it's incredibly dated to that time period. And the entire admin section was just all dated in this 1970s decor that was old and faded and, to be honest, needed an upgrade. But yeah, it was fascinating to me that it wasn't all as modern as I was just expecting it to be. A lot of it just looks older because it was built decades ago. They haven't bothered to remodel some of it, I guess. I don't ever recall seeing any Zeta personnel. New Schwabenlanders, yeah, every once in a while we see, officers or personnel or state personnel from New Schwabenland. Occasion.
El Monado says the vacuum is space. Just open the room and to the lack of atmosphere. Darker White says, let it be known when I've been blasted. It's a clip of me telling you to fuck off. Trans Girl Jade says, sounds about right that even on the moon, infrastructure spending is abysmal.
But not
Hydrate.
A lot. Those were not the main personnel that I saw when I was there. English was still the more common spoken language among everyone. My understanding is that it's funded by it's funded through the military, through the ICC, through some private banking and private family money, but it's essentially
That means nothing.
Military base and a military operations center for the covert military space program fleet. So most of their money is...
That doesn't sound official. All you said was, it's funded through the military, and also private money through banks.
Coming either from the military budget that they get, which again is mostly comes from the ICC and the conglomerate of countries that make up the EDF, or Earth Defense Force.
I love that game. Cupcake Chaos, thanks for 22 months.
There's the military base there, and then we have what has been referred to me as a living colony, meaning that there are people who live there permanently full time, but I don't know if it's right to say that they're colonists as if they're a part of that colony and they could never leave, or they're always going to be colonists. I don't know that that's correct. So, but it's still referred to as a living colony because there's a number of people who do actually live there full time. But I think that's just under or just over about 200,000 people. But
you think there are 200,000 people living on the moon and we haven't noticed? You know we can see the moon, right? You can point a telescope at it, look at the moon.
I don't know the exact.
Narnandi Owl says, wait, EDF? We need those guys down here to fight the giant spiders.
Number.
So is there like cable TV from planet Earth, like CNN piped in?
I think that has to do with rank. If you have enough rank and position, then you get access to the internet, cable, media, presentations and so forth, access.
Which company is streaming to the moon? What? Cruelty1 says, and some people actually believe this, like seriously, no joke. Yeah. Blackwing Hecate says, what was the long string of German-sounding gibberish starting with the new and ending with land? I have no idea.
Access to downloadable streaming movies and so forth. I mean, I think it has more to do with rank and position than it does anything else. So the higher level you have, the more access you have to that sort of thing. The lower level you have, the less access you have to those sorts of things.
So it is possible some of these officers could possibly be on Facebook, even messaging you.
Yeah, it's totally possible. They could certainly be on Facebook. They could certainly be messaging each other with a system of coding. They could be using their own websites to communicate with each other. They could be using the dark web to communicate with each other. But yeah, they could just be right out in the open on Facebook too.
Tea with Goblins, thanks for 13 months, says, Lucky 13, your stream has been super helpful in getting through the worst of lockdown, so thanks. May your tinfoil never tarnish. Thank you. We'll move on to Peter soon, by the way. I know this guy is going on.
The medical technology, when I was in the medical unit, was pretty sophisticated. It was pretty advanced. So, but most of that was just diagnostic equipment, so I don't remember seeing them have like a cellular regenerator. But if they did, might have just been in a different room that we didn't have access to, because that's not what we were there for. We were mostly there for a full major checkup, so the diagnostics machines seemed like that would make more sense why we were exposed to the diagnostic machines and not some other type of machinery, but it's all pretty advanced. The full body scanner is actually really similar to the ones that people go through at the airport. So you basically stand in a...
So they're really bad for trans people. Anti-Pretzel says, see, if I were to be a government with a top secret super soldier force like this, I'd have a way to kill them remotely so they didn't do exactly this. Like, Task Force X. Tucker White says, Dear Sir...
You're a stupid dumbass.
Glass booth, and the scanner swivels around, but then it does this deep tissue, cellular level scan of your entire body. That technology gets released.
Okay, I'm done with this guy for now. This whole channel is a guy doing interviews with these people, by the way. This is like a whole group of people that believe that they were in this super soldier program. And like if it was just like a LARP, like if it was just like a, you know, a role-playing, like, collective fiction thing, I wouldn't care. You know, that's cute. I think, like, I like SCP, which is like a collective fan fiction and, like, role-playing thing. But everyone there knows it's fake. These people seem to genuinely believe they've been to Mars and the moon, and that they're actually super soldiers. It's very interesting. So, that's them for now. Let's check the bingo card, and then we'll do the Peter vid. Did I know the SCP Foundation is very trans-friendly? They employ a lot of MTF agents. I did not know that. I know there's some sort of artifact from SCP that changes your sex. All right, let's see what we had. Probably just like does Peter talk about Ukraine? He hasn't released a video since the Ukraine thing, so no, this video is not about that. It's about Trump's new social media site. Where was thinks sci-fi technology is real? Aliens. They believe in aliens, so. H. Baird says, fun fact regarding trans girls in the TSA. If you get bottom surgery, you won't get the anomaly anymore, but the TSA will pull out your dilator and examine them in full view of everyone. Ew. Where the heck is believe sci-fi technology is real? Why am I missing this? Oh, we already got it. That'll do it. SCP-963. Is this the sex change one? That's funny. Okay. Well, it's time to see what Peter's up to. Recently, Trump's social media site, Truth Social, came out, at least on the Apple App Store. I have an Android, so I haven't been able to do anything with it. Not that I plan to anyway. I don't want to give it any more clicks than it already has. Though maybe we can take a look at some of the posts from there at some point. I think that'd be interesting. Peter's very excited about this. From what I understand, there have been pretty long wait times. Truth Social. They basically put everyone in a queue of some sort. So you have to wait in line to sign up, Let's see. Trump recently launched Truth Social under fire for, quote, censoring members. That's funny. Former President Donald Trump's Truth Social, the self-described big tent social media platform that the former president has called an antidote to the tyranny of big tech, is under fire for allegedly censoring and banning members. Trump's alternative to Twitter, the popular platform that he was permanently banned from in the wake of the January 6th Capitol riot, has already attracted multiple complaints of censorship less than a week after a limited launch on Apple's App Store. Last month, David Nunes, former Republican congressman and the current CEO of Truth Social's parent company, the Trump Media and Trump Technology Group, TMTG, told Fox Business that the app would be a very safe place with family-friendly content. On Tuesday, the day after Truth Social was launched, self-described serious internet clown Matt Ortega tweeted that he might be the first officially canceled Truth Social user, while sharing an image suggesting that Truth had permanently banned his account for community guideline violations. Ortega's account name was a nod to the Twitter account at Devin Cow, or Devin Nunes Cow, a parody account that inspired Nunes to launch multiple failed defamation suits while he was in Congress. So that's not surprising. Part of the TOS of Truth Social is that if you make fun of the platform or anyone who's part of the platform in terms of like ownership, management, anything like that, then you'll be banned. So it actually has harsher TOS than Twitch, or Twitter rather. So, anyway, it's been going. I wouldn't say smooth, but it's been going, and Peter's really excited about it. So let's see what he has to say.
Welcome back, Patriots. It's your optimistic Trump supporter here, and there's so much to be optimistic about. Just look at Truth Social. A lot of people were saying it's going to be delayed. It's never going to come out, or it'll be super late. It came out early, extra early. I mean, you have Devin Nunes who said it was going to come out at the end of March, and then there was the official release date on Apple for February 21st. And on Apple devices, when did people get access to the app? The night of February 20th. So to all the people saying it was going to be delayed, it was released extra early. Take that, haters.
Taken. T with Goblin says, today's gender, flipping through the SCP catalog and picking one at random. Peter is very excited about Truth Social, which I find interesting. To my understanding, it's basically just a Twitter clone. Peter seems to be expecting to be able to upload videos to it very similarly to YouTube or Rumble or BitChute or any of the multiple video sites that are out there for right-wing people who don't want to follow YouTube TOS. But to my understanding, so far, it's just a Twitter clone. So I haven't seen him talk about that at all. You'd think he'd be a little disappointed, but something Trump did, so of course Trump can do no wrong in his eyes. Meek says, how much of Peter is nature nurture? I'm going to say 100% nurture, because Peter was raised in a cult. Blackwing Haggerty says, can someone tell Peter to stop spiking the camera? I mean, he's directly talking to the camera, so I get it. In this sort of presentation, that's fine.
And now they're like, oh, well, but Trump is not dropping any truth bombs yet. I'm not sure if you can call it like the beta phase or what, but Trump is not going to drop any truth bombs on Truth Social, in my opinion, until, at the very least, Android users get access to the app, because you...
So, Peter apparently seems to think that Trump is going to drop some, like, QAnon-level conspiracy stuff, but that he's waiting for Android users to join the platform. Okay. Hydrate.
You cannot access Trump's account on the website. In fact, it makes sense to me for him to drop truth bombs once the website's up too. So Android users are going to get access to Truth Social at the end of March, and then at some point, hopefully in March, or maybe later, maybe a month later, the Truth Social website should be up. I don't know for sure. I'm just guessing here, but it makes sense strategically that if Trump is going to drop truth bombs, that everyone should be able to, or a lot of people, millions and millions, should be able to access those truth bombs. Because what's the point of you telling the truth if a lot of people can't see it? He's trying to have impact.
So Peter, I guess, assumed that once this launched, Trump was going to go on some sort of tirade on Truth Social and say something along the lines of, QAnon people were right! And actually, I am the president secretly still, and I'm working with aliens or whatever. So now Trump has to move the goalposts, on the bingo card and say, well, no, he's just waiting for Android users. And then when it comes out for Android, or vice versa, he'll say, oh, well, they're just waiting for PC users, whatever. Either way, Trump himself is not going to directly involve himself in the QAnon stuff, specifically because he wants plausible deniability, but interestingly, this is something I tweeted about. One of the first accounts that was made on Truth Social on a day where basically only people who worked for the company were able to make accounts is a Q account. This is concerning because it seems like a concerted effort on the part of the owners of Truth Social, Donald Trump and people like him, in order to basically resurrect Q from the dead, because for those who don't know, Q of QAnon fame stopped doing anything like a year ago, like January of 2019 or something like that, or 2020, actually. Or December of 2020, I think. So, it seems like their plan, and I could be wrong here, but based on the fact that they did a Q account, they already revealed it was a fake account? Oh, thank God. I was so concerned that it was genuinely them trying to be like, we're going to say Q came to our platform and then try and take basically direct control of the QAnon crazy believers into whatever the Trump camp wanted them to believe at any given time. Thank God. I'm surprised they got in so early. Basically, only people who had invites or people from within the company had it at that point. So that's good, though. That honestly makes me a lot less anxious, because the last thing we need is people actually within the Trump organization having direct control over people like Peter. Tucker White says, what's stopping Trump from doing so on Twitter? Every White House beat writer and their mother reposts his press releases like stenographers. And why wait until now? Why not in January of last year? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Blackwing Hecate says, you heard it here first, folks. Truth Social is in its fish phase. Caught up.
So truth bombs will be dropped in due time. And it's just very exciting that it was released early. Now, the waiting list is super duper interesting because if you look at the apps, it says that it's going to check your browsing history when you install it, which is a very unusual thing because we know Trump and the Patriots are not going to sell your data, your browsing history to the highest bidder. That's what Facebook does.
Peter is about to do so much mental gymnastics in order to try and justify this. If they can genuinely check your browser history, is checking your browser, not your browser history? Because I don't know how iPhones work. I've never owned an iPhone. I own a Android. So I don't know. I don't know if they can check your browser history. But if they could, Peter, and if that was something Facebook did, that would also be something Truth Social would be doing because it is a for-profit company run by people trying to make money.
So why would they need your browsing history? You know, it occurred to me, maybe they're trying to use your browsing history to make sure that bad actors don't get access to Truth Social. And then it came out that that was true, so I was right on track. There is a filtration system called Pepe. Really, you know, Pepe the Frog, which the whole movement is based on, or he's like the meme of the whole Trump movement, Pepe the Frog.
He thinks that there's a filtration system to stop deep state actors from getting into the social media site called Pepe. Tucker White says, joking about this stupid Twitter clone aside, and yes, Peter, they will sell your stuff. What could Trump possibly drop at this point that's a paradigm shift, right? It doesn't make any sense. He said everything he thinks. Trump has never had a filter.
So the filtration system is called Pepe. I mean, Trump is just the best troller ever. And it checks people's browsing history to make sure that bad actors don't get it. Now,
because the deep state doesn't know how to clear their cookies or web history, even though that's very easy to do. Much less, even if they didn't know how to do it, deep state cabal actors don't know how to buy a burner phone. The lack of thought that went into this, like, justification from Peter is impressive even by his own standards. This would have taken 1 second to think of. How did he not think this through?
Who are bad actors? Democrats? No. Democrats are good people, too. The bad actors are bots, first and foremost. And then once the filtration system gets rid of bots, you know, it's very clear that China and all these countries were going to get bots, and they were going to put these bots on True Social and put a bunch of bad information on there. They're going to try to ruin the reputation of the website.
Peter, the reputation of the website was ruined when it was announced. It's a social media site owned by Donald Trump. How do you think they're going to ruin the reputation of the website? Honestly, a bunch of people posting, like, furry porn would probably improve the image. That's the only thing making me not think Telegram is a complete write-off.
So this waiting list, as frustrating as it is, it's critical for True Social. So definitely be appreciative of it. And at the same time, there's also other bad actors. Trump knew, even Devin Nunes went on Fox News. He's like, I know there's a lot of enemies who are going to want to put out really, really horrible, illegal content on True Social to slander it and ruin its reputation and have the website get taken down because they're like, oh, look at all this illegal activity. So it's great that they're browsing through our history. I never thought I'd say this, but it's great.
I love that Peter would presumably normally be really against literally any entity searching and breaking privacy to look through your search history, but because it's Daddy Trump, he's like, yes, Daddy, open up my web history, spread it wide, and search all you want. Blackwing Hecate says, hey, I use Telegram to talk to my girlfriend. Also, I resemble that remark.
Great that Team Trump is browsing through our history to make sure that the best of the best, the brightest, the highest integrity get access to True Social first. Because True Social is possibly one of the most powerful tools ever given to humanity after the internet. It's a platform that's going to blow up and be one of the biggest platforms, if not the biggest in the world, probably the biggest in the world, because it focuses on truth, which is very valuable right now.
Peter unironically thinks that this is going to be bigger than Facebook was at its peak, bigger than Twitter, bigger than Instagram or Snapchat, bigger than any platform that's ever existed, the biggest thing since the internet. And remember, the internet was invented in its conceptual stage like in the 70s and 80s. Assuming he's even talking about mass adoption of the internet, we're talking late 90s through the early 2000s and 2010s. He's saying this is going to be bigger than smartphones. Tucker White says, ah yes, nothing says troll move like resurrecting a dead Mei. Also, the deep state is so powerful it can take down anyone it wants, but it can't decipher a, quote, filtration system, unquote, named for a dead Mei, because, did I miss a step? No, it's just very dumb. Transgirl Jade says, oh no, horny Peter voice. Ooh, Daddy Trump, search my history, spread my privacy wide and go deep inside, investigate my family and friends, oh whoa. And India Owl says, see, it says truth right on the label, so it has to be true.
And that gives people a lot of power, and the first people to get access to True Social get the most power because they get to get on that platform and they get to start building their followers, start building their base, and that's critical. So if they just let everyone on, you could have a bunch of bots, you know, follow a whole bunch of people and like make it look like they're popular and then boost up these bad
Did Sume get banned? No? Why? Zeitgeist says, what? This is what runs on a loop in Peter's head. Oh, God. And KBS says, asks if Daddy Sume got banned. No. Not to my knowledge.
Accounts full of bad actors and then post a bunch of negative content. So it's very clever how they're doing this with the wait list, with the browsing history.
Peter, the wait lists are presumably to stop their servers from getting absolutely destroyed. Not only from legitimate, like, right-wing users who want to get on. I'm not naive. I recognize that there's a lot of people like Peter out there who definitely want to get into this crappy Twitter clone. But also for stuff like DDoS attacks. They're trying to prevent that by kind of making it harder to get in at first. Don't get me wrong, I still think they'll get DDoS'd and stuff. But they're at the very least right now trying to keep their server loads reasonable for them, which I don't think has been working well. I've been seeing a lot of people saying there's a lot of downage on the site anyway. But they're trying to diminish that and also keep out DDoS.
By making sure the best people get access to this power, because really what it is, True Social, is access to incredible amount of power. Our First Amendment is what makes, one of the things that in our Constitution is what makes America great. But our First Amendment is one of the things that makes America great. And
to give you an idea of how many people are waiting to get in line, this person's screenshot says that they're number 474,924th in line. Just so you know. Tucker White says, I just want to see all the gay porn that's going to get posted on Truth Social. I wish you luck.
Obviously, a lot of companies are not respecting our First Amendment. But True Social will. Unless you're posting some illegal content, but which that is not defended by the Constitution. But our First Amendment will be protected in True Social, and to have our First Amendment back to be able to say whatever we want.
Peter, your First Amendment has nothing to do with private social media companies. For the love of God, how many times does this have to be explained to you people? The First Amendment prevents the government from censoring you. Twitter isn't the government. YouTube isn't the government. Truth Social isn't the government. It's why they can also ban people and have banned people. Tucker White says, I just want to see all the... Oh, I read that one, sorry. Sky Comet Fallen says, come on, Zoomers, spam them with K-pop and Five Nights at Furry's furry porn. Toy Chica, I don't know what that is.
Gives us tremendous amount of power. So they did not want Trump to have a platform where he could say what he wants. And he says, oh, okay, you taking me off all these social media platforms? Okay, I'm going to create a new platform where I'll have even more power. And I'm going to give that power of free speech to all the people in the world who are, you know, good, hopefully. And I'm sure some bad people will slip on, but I'm going to give them that power, and the first people who will get access to it are the most righteous people, the most important people who I want on my platform. This is this, you know, the fake news media is slandering, saying like, oh, there was an outage and this bad thing happened, that bad thing in True Social and blah, 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 blah.
I've seen a couple articles about outages, but that's just like reality. I've seen individuals posting about outages as well who are getting on there just because they're curious, like myself. There have been outages. Peter, that's not even shocking considering it's a social media site with an inbuilt audience, Trump fans, that all want to get on at the same time. It's unlikely that as this is their first venture into social media, that they're not going to have server load issues.
Trying to make it look as bad as possible, but honestly, this is the smartest launch of a product that I've ever heard of.
You haven't heard of many products, apparently.
A waiting list that filters out bad people and make sure the highest integrity, smartest, best people get on the platform and acquire the most power first. Genius. Of course, Trump's a genius. Trump is a genius. God is a genius. There's a lot of divine God power working through this. This web is going to be big.
Mr. Blast says, I'm on the site. I use the name, it's me, Peter. Let me on.
I'm so psyched about it. Can't wait to gain that power so I can finally say what I want to say. I'm being very cautious on YouTube. I'm posting less videos because I want for my account to stay open at the very least until I open my True Social account. So
Peter, Truth Social is a Twitter clone. It isn't YouTube, to my understanding. It's not a YouTube clone. If you want that, you need to go to BitChute or Rumble.
So that I can get my followers to jump on there. And
Which is weird because Peter already has a Rumble account. He just almost never uses it.
And obviously, you can stay on YouTube if you want. That's great.
He did not say King Trump. He has to literally talk about Trump being like a king or a dictator or something, which he has done before.
But I'm going to be on Truth Social, and I'm going to be very excited to post videos completely uncensored. Very, very exciting. And
you know what would be the greatest thing in the history of the world? If Peter got banned from Truth Social, I hope he gets on. And it would be so funny if he got banned on Donald Trump's platform. How in the world would he justify that in his brain? I can't even imagine the mental gymnastics. It would be gold medal, Olympic level mental gymnastics.
You know, Rumble's another place I could post videos, and I do, but it doesn't have Trump. And I think that's the difference.
He can't quit him.
Rumble's one of those kind of like the appetizer.
They're banning all kinds of anti-vax stuff, so he'd be real likely to. That's awesome.
For getting your First Amendment back, but Truth Social is the main.
Your First Amendment has nothing to do with private companies.
Of course.
If you go into a 7-Eleven and start ranting about anti-vax stuff or anything, and they want you to leave, they can make you leave. That has nothing to do with your First Amendment.
So it makes sense to invest almost all my energy to social, and I'll probably post the videos on Rumble, but I want to keep my YouTube account open. And for whatever reason, if you can't find me or my YouTube account gets taken down for whatever reason, go to Peter Jonathan Hanna on Twitter. And
I would, Peter, but you blocked me. Coward.
Find me. You know, you can find my Twitter account in the description below. And that way, no matter what, you'll be able to find out what my True Social account is. Get on there. And, but honestly, I think YouTube is going to be on their best behavior, because now that they're competing with True Social, they might stop with a lot of the censorship, because, you know, a lot of these social media companies like Twitter, Facebook, their stock is dropping. You know, the people on the left and
Peter, everyone's stock is dropping. The worldwide economy is not doing well. I don't know if you noticed, but Ukraine has been invaded by Russia. Things are unstable.
Laugh all they want and eat up all the fake news about True Social's horrible launch. But the fact is, it got released early in the smartest way possible and give the best people the most power. That is perfect. That is exceeded my expectations so far. So I'm super excited about it. And the way that they're launching it is going to really allow it to be very good at giving the people who are righteous, who have the best truths, the most power.
The best truths. We have the best truths, okay? I asked everyone, find me the best truths, and I put them in the tubes on the internet.
Speak up, most power to spread the correct truths, the real truths, the things that are true. Not, you know, like, oh, my truth, I believe this, but reality it's completely false, which is, anyway, you know.
Oh, the irony. Ugh. Trans girl Jade says, listening to Peter talk about how Rumble just doesn't have Trump can only make me think, why do they stay? It's like watching someone do anything to be close to their emotionally abusive and distant partner. He loves Trump so much, but Trump just doesn't love him back. Truly the most tragic love story. It's not even like an abusive relationship. This is an abusive parasocial relationship. It's super bizarre. Peter so desperately wants Trump to come and save him. He wants Trump to come and, like, sweep him off his feet and fix everything for him. And it's like, Peter, he's just not that into you. You need to chill.
What I'm talking about.
Bumble Homestead, thanks for 50 bits.
I'll be posting a little bit less videos, maybe once every 2 weeks or something like that. And on True Social, I should be posting 1 to 3 times a week is my goal. I'm very excited about that. Sorry that I haven't been posting much recently.
Let me look. Can I find, like, I can't obviously go on, like, Truth Social right now. Truth Social. But, like, what's it even look like? Can you post videos? I know on, like, you might be able to do short videos, because I know also on Twitter you can do short videos, but you can't typically do long-form YouTube videos, because that requires a lot of server space, and I don't think Truth Social has the ability to do that at this point. So I'm confused. Presumably Peter should know more about this than me, but I don't feel like he does, and that's very confusing. What you need to know, maybe? Inside the President's Truth Social app. That's just the actual website. Oh, God. Just let me read the article. Truth Social is finally here. Sort of. Former President Donald Trump's very own social media platform officially went live in Apple's App Store on Monday, President's Day. However, the launch of Truth Social has not been pretty. Bugs, long wait lists, and various other problems have left people asking a lot of questions. This comes with the territory, though. Truth Social is a Donald Trump product, after all. After Trump was booted off Twitter and Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Is there anything specific? Why is there a wait list? Truth Social app may officially have launched on February 21st, but the vast majority of people can actually use the platform. Upon signing up for Truth Social with a name and email, users are allowed to reserve their username, but then they're put in a line and given a number. Thank you for joining, reads the Truth Social prompt. Due to massive demand, we have placed you on a wait list. Truth Social started accepting around 500 beta users via invite last week. It's unclear how many users have been accepted onto the platform since the app actually launched. Waitlist features aren't out of the norm for new social apps, however, usually there's a viral marketing aspect where users can invite friends to join the platform in order to move up a place in line. There's no such incentive feature here. I think, didn't, Google's attempted Facebook clone try and do that back in the day? Trans girl Jade says, Peter deserves a man who will love him as much as he loves him. Trump doesn't deserve Peter's love. I agree. How many downloads does Truth Social have? We all know that Trump cares deeply about big numbers, whether it's TV ratings, social media shares, sketchy business deals, you name it. The braggadocious face of the modern Republican Party loves to tout success, so naturally when Trump Social hit #1 on Apple's App Store charts for free non-gaming apps, Trump supporters boasted about the platform's popularity. But that begs the question, how many downloads has Truth Social received? According to app analytics from Apptopia, Truth Social has received an estimated 350,000 downloads by the end of Tuesday. Remember, the app officially launched Monday. You may have seen waitlist numbers higher than that. It's unclear how those numbers are being given out. An Apptopia spokesperson explained that Mashable that the waitlist numbers they received in the app and the number they received via email were off by 80,000 places. I wonder if it's just giving people random numbers. I personally signed up for the app about an hour after my App Store pre-order notification let me know Truth Social went live. At first I was placed at around 11,000 on the waitlist. Next time I opened the app, Truth Social had pushed me back in line where I now sit at around 100,000. You think it's just a simple thing that says, you know, insert random number between 10,000 and 500,000 or something? Blackwing Hecate says, boy, who would have thought Chuds would be so excited to be on a list? Oof. What's the missed a step error in Truth Social? Waitlist issues aren't the only glitches on Truth Social's app. Some users who attempted to sign up received an error message preventing them from even registering a spot on the list. Quote, oops, looks like you've missed a step, reads the error message some have received when attempting to input their email address. According to reports from those who have received the error prompt, it appears that the message shows up when trying to use certain email address domains. For example, some users have said that changing their email from Yahoo address to Gmail address resolved the issue. And then, aside from glitches, Truth Social, once again, is dealing with potential legal problems. Some users noted the logo for Truth Social strikes a resemblance to the logo for Trailer, a UK solar vehicle company. That's not a resemblance. That's literally just the same logo. That's just the same logo, but without a box next to it. Yikes. Anyway, so yeah, it's interesting to see where this is going.
Recently, I'm currently working on a project that is going to save lives.
Probably some anti-vax bullshit, if I had to guess. Carney says, cute meme.
Confirmed it's going to save lives, and that kind of took over priority. of other things that, like this project that I'm working on. So I had to focus on that project because I knew it was going to save lives, and I knew it was going to help a lot of people. So I've been working on that, and that's kind of been slowing down my production of the videos here. But at the end of the day, the videos here don't matter as much because I can't say everything I really want to say. True Social, that's going to be huge. True Social, that's where I'm going to be. I hope to see you guys there, and it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful. Honestly, I was considering buying an Apple device just to gain access to True Social early.
Because Peter is so flush with cash. Remember the other day when he said he had already spent $20,000 on this YouTube channel that makes no money? He has 2,000 subscribers and he spent $20,000 on it. And when I first talked to Peter, he said he was already $60,000 in debt. He's real good with money.
But anyway, it's okay that they're...
Truth Social does have a video feature? Okay. We're going to get some new content from Peter on that site then.
They're releasing Apple first. Wish they released Android first, but anyway, they did it for a reason. There's a plan for this. Maybe it's...
I'm going to have to make a whole separate email just for that. I do not want to get spammed with whoever they're going to sell the email lists for Trump Social to, or Truth Social.
Just easier to develop on Apple. Who knows? Anyway, be excited for True Social. True Social had the best launch. I can't even process, like, the best launch possible, the smartest launch, most clever. It's going, no matter what people are saying, it's going so perfectly. And it's because there's a lot of geniuses working behind it. There's, you know, God's divine power.
God's divine power is behind this Twitter clone.
A lot of people are praying for True Social to be that thing that really changes the world, the Great Awakening. So be excited, guys.
Peter, that doesn't even make sense. The only people who are going to be on Truth Social are Trump supporters who already believe a bunch of conspiracy theories like you do because they're Trump fans, or people making fun of you. People are not just going to go on there and meander onto it and then all of a sudden get red-pilled or whatever bullshit you think.
A lot of wonderful things are happening. True Social, the launch has been phenomenal. And one of the reasons that fake news media is trying to, like, slander it and say, you know, nitpick, like, the tiniest things, like, True Social struggled for 10 minutes, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but it was also the best launch ever of any...
By what metric, Peter?
...social media company. And when I say best launch ever, I'm not saying, like, they got the most users. I'm saying they had the best, the only social media company that I'm aware of that had a filtration system to make sure that the best people that had the best
Peter, that's not what it's for.
Information that deserved the most power got access to that first. As long as they had an Apple device. So anyway, I'm very excited about that. Be excited. We have a lot.
Trans Girl Jade says, a lot of people ignore the part of the Bible where God's an app developer. He was behind Raya.
A lot to look forward to. And I look forward to posting more videos on here soon. And I'll also be posting some excellent health videos on my Rumble channel. Videos that I can't post on YouTube. And
that'll be interesting. I assume it's going to be anti-vax bullshit.
Is this health project that I'm working on. I'm going to post phenomenally good health videos on Rumble that would definitely not be allowed on YouTube. And I hope that it helps save a lot of lives. That is the goal. And I definitely am confident that information, the videos I'm going to be posting on Rumble and True Social will save a lot of lives and help a lot of people be healthier. All right, everyone, thank you so much. God bless you, and God bless America.
So that's Peter. Still doing what he's doing. Remember, by the way, I started a playlist. I guess I should point this out. Hannah reloaded. I started a playlist on YouTube that is all Peter videos. So if you want to see the Peter saga from beginning to end, here's a link to the entire playlist of every Peter video we've ever done. Remember back in the early days of covering Peter when I was like, oh, I'm sure he'll be fine after a few months of, you know, dealing with reality of Biden winning the presidency? That was fun. Anyway, so that's what he's been up to. Moving on. MH Darkbeast says, as promised on Twitter, here's a cleanse of pure madness in an ad campaign production company commercial. Enjoy. And yes, it's real. Oh, God. Narnandia Owl says, if you judge a social media platform on how many people it keeps out, Frank Speech actually beats Truth Social by a wide margin. Empty the Tank says, it doesn't even make sense. Isn't filtering who has access to a platform who's able to utilize speech on that platform literally the definition of censorship, Peter? No, but it's keeping out people he doesn't like, so it's fine. You should do playlists for other people I cover. I've thought about it. It's just a project. I'll just have to sit down one day and do it. Who would you guys like playlists of? If I do playlists, who should I spend the time to actually, you know, put into their own playlists? Marcel, Cece. Cece's a good one. Call, that makes sense. Chris, Call, Tate, Marcel, Cece, John Doyle. John Doyle for sure. Those videos are usually pretty popular. Maybe Hans. Okay, let's watch this ad real quick, and then I'm gonna run to the bathroom, and then we will continue Tinfoil.
Why am I
Saturday?
Dressed like a big baby? Because you marketers are acting like big babies, creating boring, skippable ads that waste marketing dollars. Boring will put you out of business. And it's time to change the diaper. Time to work with us and breathe life into your marketing. Put your big girl and big boy pants on. And work with us. At Burn the Boats Productions, we create memorable video content that we place on your social channels with campaigns targeting your customers. That'll drive business. We work with some of the largest brands in the world, all the way down to small mom and pop shops. Since 2007, we've been creating video content for companies all across the country. From television commercials to social content, sales videos. I mean, we even sold 2 shows to Comedy Central. Hey, Dad! I sold 2 shows to Comedy Central! He doesn't care, but you should, because we create memorable video that your customers are going to engage with. Contact us today and let's get to work. Don't be boring. Don't be a baby.
How does he have a job in the advertising industry? That was terrible. D with Goblin says, I hope it's okay to say, but holy hell, estrogen is a hell of a drug. You've definitely upgraded. Thank you. I feel the same way. Alright, I'll put on some Sausage Guy while I use the bathroom. Shouge. Okay, I will be back in just a minute.
Well, hey there, folks, and welcome back, I guess. And today we're doing the gold standard. It's strawberries and cream. It smells good. Listen, Mr. Sausage doesn't exactly hit the gym. You know, he relied on what the best that Target had to offer.
Aren't you supposed to add water?
You should. Mistakes were made. Well, now I know I don't have to worry about putting cornstarch in the sausage mixture. Don't do that. You know, one scoop is enough. I've taken the liberty of... Where the heck is it? I've taken the liberty of pre-chopping up our meat. Starman waiting in the sky. Let's begin. I'm pretty sure most of the powder is just clinging on the inside. That's okay, because we're gonna just hit it with a whole lot more powder. And we'll balance that off with a pinch of salt. I can feel the powder's magic working as this becomes one solid clump. It looks the same. Hit it with some water. Oh, it looks like strawberry Nesquik. This is one of those ideas that seem better on paper. This is gonna make a fine will it blow. Today feels like a Tuesday. Ew. And 3. chocolate sausage. Get down. And there it is. That's our big, juicy whey protein sausage ready to go. It looks like a slug. Will it blow? It looks like we blew his brains out. Good all around splatter. I'm gonna have to give that Will It Blow 4 Mark Ruffalos. I found my spray bottle. Oh, all right, here we go. It's stuck to the pan. Oh, we got a mega burst. A burst has never stopped us in the past, and I don't think it should stop us now. We still got most of this thing cooking pretty good. The more that oozes out, the better. That's always been my motto. My hope is that this part finishes cooking before it empties out on this side. The Love Shack is a little old place where we can get together. It looks like the pickled pig feet episode. Uh-oh. Something tells me that that's as good as that's gonna get. We're just gonna take that and put it right there. All right. We got a shrimp tail. All right, it looks cooked, and that's about the best thing that we can say for this sausage. Here we go. It tastes exactly like Pepto-Bismol. It's not good. Not good in the slightest. I mean, we managed to make a crispy skin. We managed to make a hearty sausage, but the taste just isn't there. I'm gonna have to give this sausage here a 1 out of 5. Bop, 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 bop. I can't remember what it tastes like.
Oh wait, what was that? Hold on. I just saw something about Ukrainian capital I wanted to see. Bingo check, sure. I don't think we had anything on this page. Moves goalposts for sure. That might be it though. Okay. I think that's it. Yep, we got 41. Oh boy, so this one's gonna probably be rough. This is from a channel called Uncool Paranoia. This is a video about a topic that's relatively serious, and that's HIV and AIDS. So, for some reason, conspiracy theorists, in particular those that don't like certain kinds of preventive medicine that are actually very good and you should get. How do I put this? For some reason, they think it's giving people diseases. It's not. Her video is going to be full of a ton of medical misinformation. But I wanted to see what she has to say and why she thinks what she does about HIV. Sky Comet Fallen says, staggering levels of hypocrisy, free speech. Yeah, sure. That on the bingo card. So let's check it out. I don't know if this has anything to do with the recent stat that showed recent new HIV infections are actually on the rise more so in the heterosexual community than they are in the gay community for, like, the first time in over a decade or so. I think a lot of that's attributed to PrEP, by the way. So, hey, if you're engaging in consensual adult activities, consider PrEP, especially if you are someone with a penis who's putting it in other people. Let's go ahead and do PrEP, people. I don't know. It's very much helped decrease the amount of HIV infections in the LGBT community. Anyway, let's continue. And wrap it. Wrap it before you tap it.
Prep up.
Step up, prep up.
To help.
This is an ad for PrEP. Blackwing Hecate says, we should stop letting straight people give blood, don't want to get AIDS. That's a comment for those who don't know. I've seen that joke too. LGBT people were prevented from giving blood, and maybe still are. I actually don't know what the current protocol is because of the increased risk of HIV, but now that it's flipped, LGBT people are saying, like, well, shouldn't you do the opposite then?
Keep you free from the risk of HIV.
From the makers of Truvada, a new PrEP option, Descovy for PrEP, a once-daily prescription medicine that helps lower the chances of getting HIV through sex. It's not for everyone. Descovy for PrEP has not been studied in people assigned female at birth. Talk to your doctor to find out if it's right for you.
Step up for health and body.
Prep up for your one and only love, or many loves. For kings, this queen, and you royals in between. For my now.
Our now.
And my future. Our future.
Step up, prep up. Descovy is the newest way to prep. Descovy does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections, so it's important to use safer sex practices and get tested regularly. You must be HIV negative to take Descovy for PrEP, so you need to get tested for HIV immediately before and at least every 3 months while taking it. If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. They may check to confirm you are still HIV negative. Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Rare life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. The most common side effect was diarrhea. Tell your doctor about all the medicines and supplements you take, or if you have kidney or liver problems, including hepatitis. If you have hepatitis B, do not stop taking Descovy without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about your risk of HIV, and if Descovy for PrEP is right for you.
Words are loud, but actions are louder.
Step up.
Prep up with Descovy for PrEP. Get help paying for Descovy for PrEP. Learn more at stepupprepup.com.
What is happening, good people? First off, I'd like to say thank you all for being here this evening. And you know what? I never noticed how much programming is in HIV commercials.
Jesus Christ. Blackwing Hecate says, not allowed to give blood if you've had a sexual contact with a male at birth individual. Oh, wait, where did it go? A male at birth individual within the past year. Gotcha.
I mean, wasn't that just ridiculous?
No? Don't get me wrong, there was some interesting stuff in the terms of, like, using, during the reading of, like, the potential side effects, everyone still being, like, vibing. Like, I get it, that's a little funny, just in the... what's the word I'm thinking of? The dissonance between the two things going on sort of way. But overall, no, I think that's good. Pharmaceutical ads are a weird American thing, but PrEP is a good thing as help reduce the amount of new HIV infections by a lot. So PrEP is good. PrEP is a good thing. Nick says, I hate her already. Freaking Out says, she looks like... no. I don't talk about people's looks, regardless of what you're saying.
What? Okay, so as you sit and watch that commercial, I couldn't tell who's male or female. Then they're talking about if you were assigned female at birth.
Okay. Some of the people in the commercial may have been trans. At least one looked to potentially be a drag queen. It's fine. And assigned female at birth is presumably talking about... trans people who were assigned female at birth and who are now either NB or trans men, whatever. It's pretty easy to understand.
Then the hand signs. Yeah.
Did anyone else notice hand signs? Because I sure didn't.
Yeah. So, we are here to talk about a potentially sensitive subject. I just thought I'd go live and just knock this out the ballpark. I'm not going to do it so much like a hangout. I'm not going to spend so much time in the chat. So, I am going
Spurious symbology on the bingo card.
to address everybody right now, though, for what I can. And then I'm going to hop into the subject matter and explain to you guys why are we talking about this evening. So we got Ed in the house. Ed was the first person to hop in the chat talking about, I've been studying for the STDs in preparation for this live stream. Here's hoping for positive results with a taco. Really, Ed? Really? All right, so we got my girl, Miss Maskless, in the house. There go my twin. We got Reed Romans 10. How you doing? We got Rob G. Cinch Man up in this piece. How you doing, homie? We got Faither Waither and Goody. All right.
Prep from the
God damn it.
Sit. Then they're talking fan man. Yeah. Popping back up into the... I'm so distracted, I'm gonna stop looking. So, yeah. Have y'all noticed that the AIDS/HIV narrative is kind of popping back up into the news? Like, it's kind of just prevalent with the whole scamdemic that we find ourselves in and the CV-19 and all of that, blah, blah, blah. Do y'all...
I don't know what she's talking about in regard to that. I don't watch like anything but streaming services without ads. So I have no idea what she's talking about. If there have been an increase in commercials for things like PrEP, that doesn't surprise me because PrEP is amazing. Trans Girl Jade says, I just need a kitty appearance for bingo. Here, kitty, kitty, come on. Here, kitty, kitty.
Y'all remember in the first wave that people were testing positive for both. And then they called them false positives. So during this live stream, I'm going to try my best to tiptoe around these phrases to avoid the censorship police. Oh, Shulamite, how you doing? Yeah, good to see you. Yeah. So, let's go ahead and hop into this. Now, for starters, what I wanted to do, before I get into the main subject of this video, I want to show you guys another commercial with programming that I noticed. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Hold on, let me set up this screen share real quick. We're gonna do that. We're gonna share the audio there. We go bada boom, bada bing up in this piece. There we go. And so we've got, first off, I'm gonna show this commercial here. Hang on, I'm gonna hit pause right now. So I'm gonna show this commercial right here. So this made me think about how they're doing the at-home testing for the scamdemic. So let's go ahead and just watch this commercial. This is a throwback HIV commercial. Let's just take a look at this.
I've never been tested for HIV. I should be. Everyone should be. So I'm gonna get an HIV.
Everyone should be. It's just like they just tooting the same horn. So
I mean, if you're sexually active, yeah, you should get STD tests. Like, why wouldn't you do that? I don't understand why you would be averse to that.
Let's go. This commercial's from '96.
Test right now. Watch me.
Call this toll-free number now to order an HIV test kit, an important new product developed for our times by Home Access Health. It includes everything you need to get accurate, anonymous results in 3 days. The kit arrives discreetly with an ID code number that guarantees privacy. First, you do a simple finger stick. It's quick, easy. Then you put your sample in the prepaid delivery packet and send it to our certified lab for the same tests your doctor would order. 3 business days later, call a toll-free number and get your results using your...
This smooth jazz, pretty good.
ID code number, your number.
I feel like I'm in an elevator in like 2002. No bills, just vibing.
Not your name. If you wish, you can speak with a counselor trained to answer questions and offer guidance, but that's up to you. Home Access. It's fast, it's easy, it's accurate, and it's nobody's business but your own. This test costs $49.95. HIV testing is part of life today, so go to your doctor, go to your clinic, or just go to your phone and call 1-800-HIV-TEST.
Seems like a good product. Expensive, but the idea of people being embarrassed or feeling ashamed in some way to not want to go get an HIV test in person, especially in the 90s, is an out of the question proposition. So it makes sense to be able to provide these tests to people at home. If they get a positive, of course you want to go get it double-checked at a doctor or something, but is it like a preliminary test? Yeah, why not be able to offer them to people at home in the privacy of their own place, anonymously?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Home access, making you feel right at home.
Yeah, $49.95 in 1996. It's expensive, but so is a trip to the doctor, so I guess I don't know. Blackwing Hecate says, quick, while you're in 2002, tell 2002 us to transition. Oh, God, believe me, I wish. Nick says, because people like this woman shame people into not wanting to get tested. Yeah.
All right, so you can see the disgusting programming in this commercial. This made me think of...
What's disgusting about this? Acknowledging that HIV is a thing that you should be tested for if you're sexually active? And that you can do it at home? Privately? What is wrong with this? What is wrong with this in any way, shape, or form? How could she possibly twist this into a negative?
Of the masks that are getting mailed to the house, your test...
This happened in 1996! Like, over 20 years ago! What? You're saying they provided these at-home test kits, which you have to pay for, by the way, over 20 years, like 24 years before the beginning of the pandemic, in order to prepare people to have masks shipped to their home? What are you talking about, you absolute maniac? God. Tea with Goblin says, my partner and I are polyamorous, so before lockdown we were both gigantic bisexual floozies, so STD testing was a regular occurrence. The doctors were pleased to see us being responsible, and we even came up with a fun little peeing in a cup song. Get tested, folks. Nice. Blackwing Hecate says, I mean, the capitalization of medical service is pretty grody, but I doubt that's her problem. I would agree, but again, within the system we currently have, it is not a bad thing to be able to provide the service of at-home HIV testing to people. I think you can buy these in stores now. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen at Walgreens, they have a whole section for at-home tests for various different things, whether it's like alcohol or marijuana or other stuff. I think I've seen ones that might be at-home HIV tests. Definitely cheaper than they used to be. Roland7 says, I don't know that she thinks only sinful people get AIDS. I'm not a mind reader. Oh, she might.
Kits or the CV are getting mailed to your house, and you can have CV with no symptoms. So this lady clearly...
Sure? Yeah? There are diseases that present with no symptoms, but you can still be a carrier and spread it to other people.
Clearly is not sick. No symptoms, but, you know, everybody must get tested.
How would you know if the actress in the... Like, what? It's a commercial? What? How would you know she had no symptoms? What are you talking about?
So, you know, don't you just see the correlation?
And even then, my understanding of HIV is if you contract HIV, you get flu-like symptoms for a short period of time. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is just what I've read. And then it lays dormant until eventually, if it goes untreated, turns into AIDS. Or you get AIDS from your HIV, because AIDS is a syndrome, HIV is the actual virus.
Here, you know, I just never just sat and just put it together. So, now.
That's correct, okay.
What I want to do this evening is show you some predictive programming from a movie called Team America World Police.
She's gonna do it. She's gonna do it. So what she's about to show... So there was a film made some decades ago, made by the people who do South Park, Trey and Matt Parker, called Team America World Police. It's a movie with puppets. That's kind of a satire of America and American military imperialism, sort of Iraq war stuff, Iraq and Afghanistan. How do I put this? In the movie, there is a scene that is a satire of the musical Rent. Now, Rent is a musical that takes place in 1980s New York amid the AIDS epidemic and follows around many characters that they themselves have HIV or are suffering from AIDS. So in that musical, there are songs about having AIDS, dealing with grief from other people passing of it, stuff like that. I don't personally like Rent, but, you know, that's just my opinion. So, this musical number from Team America World Police is a satire of the musical Rent. Okay. Red Werewolf says, before the pandemic, a lot of furry cons had teamed up with the local health centers to offer, at con STD testing locations, cue weird Puritans within the furry community freaking out about optics over a thing that can legit help people. That's silly. It's always good to get people tested. Blackwing Hecate says only 2 characters have AIDS. Also F Rent. Angel. No, didn't Angel have it? And then also, the one couple both have it. The guy who was the heroin addict and the other woman who does heroin. At least I thought so. I don't know.
And what I noticed when I started to look into the movie, I noticed a lot of numerological programming with the number 19, number 33.
And then Mark, I don't mean to make this a video about me bashing Rent, but then Mark, the main character, I guess, goes to like a meeting for people who are living, like a support group meeting for people with HIV. And he's super weird about it and tries to film without asking anyone. It's super gross. It's so bad.
Number 15. Just all over the place. Yeah. So, before I get into Team America World Police, I wanted to show you guys one more commercial. One more commercial. One more commercial.
When you have trouble falling...
Let me see. That's not it.
I'm on the pill.
Is she not going to play Team America World Police? Okay, good. For those who don't know, in Team America World Police, there's a song that's everyone has AIDS, 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 everyone has AIDS. It's making fun of Rent, basically. Numerology on bingo. Did she do a numerology? I missed it because I was talking about Rent. Sorry.
I'm on. Here we go. So if I seem a little nervous, it's been a minute since I did like a live decode like this, so I'm like, my vibe is kind of off. I got to kind of fall back into this, so my apologies.
She did. Cool. Numerology.
But this Truvada commercial right here was very interesting. We're going to go ahead and watch this one, and then I'm going to hop into the Team America clip, and then I'm going to do the breakdown and show you the point of doing all of this. So check this out.
On the pill. I'm on the pill. I'm on the pill too. But it's not birth control. It's Truvada for PrEP, a once-daily prescription medicine for adults that, when taken every day, along with using safer sex practices, can help lower my chances of getting HIV through sex.
I use condoms, but I talked to my doctor about doing more. He said that because I had...
All right, so on this particular scene right here, what do you see?
Looks like a guy going into a movie theater with show times, but there's no movie listing because they can't use an actual movie title for this.
Noticed it right away. We've got now playing 2:30 p.m., the number 23, and we know that's symbolic. 5.
God damn it.
15 p.m. 15. What do we got? What's 15, y'all? I tell people this all the time. 15 is the 15th tarot card. The devil.
They have little justifications for like every number. Just name a number, and a crazy conspiracy theorist will come up with something that they think it's symbolic of. Tea with Goblin says, some of the anti-vax nutters down here were trying to link HPV vaccines to, quote, a trans agenda, caterwauling about her son being encouraged to get the HPV vaccine despite not having a cervix because it's apparently easier to mock trans people than it is to do the modicum of research that would tell her that male-at-birth people can still be carriers of HPV. Yes, yes they can. Nick says, 15 is your mental age, lady.
Tarot card. That's 15. So I'm going to show you some 15s in the movie decode I'm about to do. That's 15. I saw it in this commercial. Like, wow, you can't be serious. In addition to the number 15, you've got 8 p.m. That's meta. That's the meta symbol. That's infinity.
We're not allowed to use the number 23, the number 15, or 8 in any context, okay? These are the rules. We all know them.
Then you've got 10:45 p.m. is the next showing. 10:45. What do you got? 4 plus 5 is 9. Plus 10 is 19.
You can't just arbitrarily do that!
Okay? I'm just looking at this commercial like, you can't make this stuff up, but they most certainly can.
Tea with Goblin says, okay, tarot reader here. The devil card isn't literally about the devil. It's about being tied to addictive or self-indulgent behaviors or mindsets. Tarot already gets misunderstood enough, lady. Leave my pretty woo-woo cards alone.
So I'm going to go ahead and play the rest of the commercial just so you can just get a feel of all the programming in these commercials. But yeah, we've got the number 23. We've got the 15th tarot card. We've got the meta symbol. We've got the number 19. All across this moniker right here.
Had a higher chance of getting HIV through sex. Truvada for PrEP could be an option for me.
She also told me that
She said moniker. Does she mean marquee? Yes, numerology.
Truvada alone may not keep me from getting HIV, and it does not prevent other STIs or pregnancy.
You must be HIV negative to take Truvada for PrEP, so you need to get...
Oh, hang on. Also said she saw a halo over his head. I paid no attention to that. See? Yeah, team effort. Teamwork making that dream work.
Let's all work together to be paranoid and try and look for stuff that isn't even there in order to stoke our paranoid delusions.
See,
She also told me that you're...
Because I had a higher...
Oh, yeah, right here. Huh? Huh? Absolutely. And I bet it's 19 lights if I were to count these lights.
Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Nope, 23, but as we know, she also thinks 23 is a magic number, so you can't win with these people.
Fun to hear. I bet it's 19. Kind of don't feel like it, but the lights up under that moniker, I bet it's 19 of them.
There were not 19.
Chance of getting HIV through sex. Truvada...
Oh, actually, I think it's 24. I missed one because he was in the way. So no, it's actually 24. You're wrong.
For PrEP could be an option for me.
She also told me that Truvada alone may not...
By the way, can I just point out, this video just feels like homophobia with extra steps. It feels like she's trying to find more reasons to dislike LGBT people because she's associating it with HIV.
Keep me from getting HIV, and it does not prevent other STIs or pregnancy.
You must be HIV negative to take Truvada for PrEP, so you need to get tested for HIV immediately before and at least every 3 months while taking Truvada.
Hi, Ollie.
I wanted to know about all of my prevention.
So you have to keep getting tested. What else do you have to keep getting tested for?
Lady, what are you doing? This is a commercial for HIV preventative. It has nothing to do with anything else. Yes, people get tested for diseases. That's not new. Blackwing Hecate says, my LGS sells sleeves for tarot cards in packs of 50. There's 78 cards in a tarot deck. Why? Yeah, I have a friend who collects tarot decks. The art on them is very interesting.
And these people don't even have it. They're just doing it just because.
Options. So I asked my doctor about Truvada for PrEP.
And as you watch this commercial, you can't tell who's male or female. It's just androgyny.
It looks like this is a woman. This is a woman. Could be someone who's non-binary, presents a little more femme. But who the fuck cares? Who cares? Why do you need to know what's in people's pants or what their gender is? Like, who the fuck cares? Can this be transphobia on bingo? Yes. Transphobia on bingo. Thrashmio says, we should throw large number primes at numerologists just to see how they deal with them.
All over the place.
If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. They may do more tests to confirm you are still HIV negative. Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems, kidney failure, and bone problems, which may lead to fractures. Rare life-threatening.
Oh, Ms. Master said red door. Oh, Faither said red door. That's right. And they showed the soccer ball. So soccer ball is what? Acrinochrome? Uh-huh. The PrEP acronym is pretty...
You got a bingo? let's take a look. That'd be cool if you got a bingo on your first live stream. I hope you do. Let's take a look. Moves goalposts, spurious symbology, free space do your own research, Lupine or Cassia make a guest appearance. They didn't show up on camera. They have to show up on... Well, I did say something, though. I'm going to be very flexible today because this is your first live stream. You win bingo. I'm going to gift you a sub. Oh, you already have one. I'll write your name down then. Trans Girl Jade. That's our winner for bingo today. Hi, Jake. How you doing? We're learning about why this person thinks HIV is a conspiracy or something. Everyone has AIDS. AIDS, AIDS, AIDS. Stuck in my head now. Hello.
Hey. Did someone get bingo?
Yep.
Nice.
Trans Girl Jade on her first live stream. Oh. So that's nice.
Hello, everyone.
J.I. Lost says, when I see a red door, all I think is how I want to paint it black. Isn't there a movie called Behind the Red Door? No, is it Behind the Green Door? Pretty sure it's a smut film from the 70s. Anyway.
Pretty interesting. Prepping for what? Absolutely. So y'all just all going in. Yeah. That's why I felt like doing this live, because, you know.
It is? Your dad knows about that film I talked about. Interesting.
What film?
No. It's like Behind the Red Door, Behind the Green Door or something. Dr. Gamble says, can we start pointing at things in the background of these nutjobs' houses to prove they are in fact satanic too? Of course, it's all a cover.
Do you agree that I'm cute?
Have truly excellent people following my channel. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let me stop pausing. Sorry, y'all.
Side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take. If you are pregnant or breastfeeding, or if you have kidney, bone, or liver problems, including hepatitis. If you have hepatitis B, do not stop taking Truvada without talking to your doctor. Common side...
This is definitely using some of the same shots from the other commercial. Blackwing Hecate says, if people don't stop it with the transphobia, I'm going to identify as a fucking problem. That's the only version of the one joke I thought was funny. That's good.
Effects include stomach pain, headache, and weight loss. Ask your doctor about your risk of getting HIV, and if Truvada for PrEP may be right for you. I wanted to do more.
Stomach pain, headache, and weight loss. I mean, like, aren't those the alleged symptoms of HIV? But you just...
No! What are you talking about? Do you not understand the difference between having mild, like, side effects from a medication and getting HIV? Do you not understand the difference? The wide gulf between those two outcomes? Oh boy, maybe having a little bit of a tummy ache until my body gets used to this new medication versus getting HIV, which will, at some point, if you're not careful and, you know, you need to get your various I don't know what the current medications for preventing HIV becoming AIDS are. Sorry. I know it used to be AZT, but that's like really old now, I think. I know they have new ones. Anyway, with management, you can keep yourself from getting, like, AIDS. But does she not understand the fundamental difference between tummy ache, HIV? They're different. H-Bird says, this is approaching a call for an uprising levels of having her content just be someone else's video, right? Yeah, her channel I actually found on a Call for an Uprising's website, so they probably share similar audiences.
Just get it from this medication instead, so... the correlations is just amazing, y'all.
That's why I'm on that pill. Truvada for PrEP.
Alright. So, yeah, that's that. Now, the main clip I wanted to get into. So the point of me doing this live stream tonight is the explosion of HIV that's happening right now. And it's popping right back up in the news. And
it's probably popping back up specifically because, as I mentioned earlier, there's a link to the video, because as I mentioned earlier, for the first time in like over a decade, I want to say, new infections of HIV are majority heterosexual. Which, of course, concerns the straights. Mostly, I would imagine, again, I don't know the actual statistics as to why, I'd imagine a big part of it's PrEP. People in the LGBT community are much more aware and conscious and thoughtful of being concerned about HIV because of the absolute decimation that happened, you know, in the AIDS epidemic of the 1980s and 90s. So, LGBT people, much more conscious about these things, learn about things like PrEP, take things like PrEP. Straight people don't, because they don't really think about it. They don't view themselves as potential, I'm trying to think of the word, of people who have the potential to catch that, because still, unfortunately, HIV is often perceived by people as a, quote, gay disease or something only intravenous drug users can get. But they're wrong. So they become susceptible, and that's why you see the statistics kind of changing the way they are now. Vectors, sure.
I believe it's happening from the toxination. Yeah.
All right, that's... Give me a sec. I never know what to label these things. Scams are fraud, sure. Genius.
So,
J.I. Loss says, the obvious reason that new AIDS cases are mostly het now is that all the, oh, I know you're joking. I don't find that funny. I'm not gonna read it. Anti-Pretzel says, glad to see this misinformation come back. It's toxic. It's just as an insert viral cluster put in your body. Or an inert viral cluster. The recent ones aren't even that. The ones that are coming out, like the MRA ones, are a completely different kind of vaccination. They're very cool. I've had Baha explain it to me because she, of course, knows more about it than I do, being that she's in biology and stuff like that, so she knows more about it. It's very cool, and unfortunately, a lot of weird conspiracy people are freaked out about it for absolutely no discernible reason.
Toxination has the inserts of this virus, you know, within it. So, you know, I'm going to try my best to talk around, you know, the hot button words. So, Team America World Police has a major piece of programming within this entire thing. This is what made me look this movie up and look up this entire subject matter. So I'm
Here we
pull
go.
this up, man. Y'all have to pay attention to.
Again, it's a satire of Rent. Literally, the fake musical is called Lease, and the logo looks exactly like the musical Rent logo. Rent, the musical. This is the logo for Rent. Which is bad. Don't see Rent. And then, where did I put her video? This is the logo for Lease. It's a direct satire.
This clip right here. This is from Team America World Police.
Too long didn't read on I Rent is bad. Lindsay Ellis did a good video on it. Basically, it's full of itself. It's pretentious. It has bad takes on a lot of things. The primary character is like a random white guy who wants to be an artiste. It's a whole thing.
Police. Now the name. Okay, so this is coming from a song of a stage play. The scene of this movie.
The main character is basically doing poverty tourism in order to make his art better. It's really stupid. Tea with Goblin says, apropos of nothing, being a female at birth, non-binary, and wearing a pretty sundress is odd. Feels kind of like I'm in disguise as a girl, but dress goes spinny. Dress do go spinny.
Was a musical. And everybody in the movie, if you haven't seen this movie, every character in this movie is a marionette doll, a puppet. So it's not like, you know, it's voice actors in the movie. It's not like actual actors you see on screen. So the name of the musical is Lease.
That's kind of a weird thing to point out. You'd think when we see the puppets we would know that. I don't feel the need to explain what puppets are.
When I saw the word lease, you know, what that make you think of, you know?
Rent, the musical.
Our buddy Klaus Anal Schwab, you know.
What are you talking about? Lily Love Stuff says, how does this person feel about showgirls? Hopefully, as you should feel about every single Paul Verhoeven project, that it's awesome.
Own nothing and you'll be happy, but the name of this musical is Lease. Listen to the lyrics of the song of this musical.
Everyone has AIDS. AIDS, AIDS, AIDS. AIDS, 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 AIDS. Everyone has AIDS.
Does she not know it's about Rent? It doesn't seem like she does at all. She could have looked this up. I'm sure if you look on, like, the Wikipedia page for this musical, or for this musical number, or for the movie Team America, it probably comes up.
And so this is the end of our story.
For as much as, like, conspiracy theorists like to tout the line, do your own research, they don't do anything. They just say things that come into their brains.
And everyone is dead from AIDS. It took from me my best friend, my only true pal, my only bright star. Well, I'm gonna march on Washington, lead the fight and charge the brigades. There's a hero inside of all of us. I'll make them see everyone has AIDS. My father, AIDS. My sister, AIDS. My uncle and my cousin and her best friend, AIDS, AIDS. The gays and the straights and the whites and the spades. Everyone has AIDS. My grandma and my dog go blue. AIDS, AIDS, AIDS. The Pope has got it and so do you. AIDS, 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 AIDS. Come on, everybody, we got quilting to do. AIDS, 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 we're gonna break down these barricades. Everyone has AIDS, 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 AIDS.
So, isn't that just horrible?
I mean, it's no Book of Mormon, I'll give you that, but no, it's I'm not even really a big fan of Trey and Matt, especially lately, but, like, I'd be lying if I said I didn't think it's a little funny in so far as just being a really dumb parody of Rent. It's a one-note joke, but it makes me chuckle. Either way, it's not a conspiracy, it's just childish humor.
Everyone has AIDS, and now it's just exploding now. It's all back into the news, and they're fighting to use the,
I gotta look at the actual rates of HIV. HIV infection rates. I'm just curious, are they even up? HIV infections fell by 8% from 2015 to 2019 after a period of general stability, which again probably has to do with the advent of stuff like PrEP. And of course just better, you know, education in so far as like LGBT sex education. So no, new HIV infections are in fact down. I think the only group they might be up for is straight people. I'm actually not sure on that, though, so don't quote me. But I do know that the LGBT is down, which is the group that primarily is associated with HIV. Did you take that movie seriously? I guess.
the same technology that was used to create the Jabberoo for the scamdemic is now being used to create something for HIV. I mean, what are the odds? So, isn't that crazy? Yeah, that's horrible. Miss Master's talking about my new ringtone. Oh my goodness, you are terrible. Yeah. So, so I'm thinking, man, I used to actually watch that movie, and thank goodness, you know, Jesus Christ relieved, you know, just saved me from just, you know, indulging in stuff like that, because I used to crack the heck up at that stupid movie. Now that I've sat and, you know, watched a few scenes of it, and I just could not, like, I just cannot take it anymore. Like, oh my goodness, this is awful. I can't believe I ever laughed at that. But yeah.
Presumably you're not a teenager anymore, so that does make sense. That's roughly the demographic for Trey and Matt Parker stuff.
That scene never did sit with me, right? Because I'm like, why are they singing about that? But now I understand why.
Trey Stone and Matt Parker, the way I said it made it sound like they're brothers or something.
So I thought I looked the movie up. The name of the movie, Team America World Police. So when you think about the title of the movie, what do you Think about world police, one world order.
It's literally making fun of Americans' foreign policy during the George W. Bush administration. Ah!
World police, like blue hats, UN soldiers. In the artwork, Team America World Police, freedom hangs by a thread. Yeah, it hangs by a thread for those who aren't in Christ Jesus, most likely. But
it's a pun, because they're marionettes.
Yeah, and this movie is about a terrorist force, like a terrorist, anti-terrorist police force that polices the entire world. They're in multiple countries fighting terrorists because they're the one world police. Now, so when I do movie decodes,
I think media literacy should start being taught in schools, because the amount of conspiracy theorists that I see regularly misunderstanding basic things about the media they consume, it's a problem.
I like to start off a certain way by first looking up the release date. So what I'm going to do is just show you.
She's a stupid dumbass. Yeah.
Guys, some numbers. There's 19s, 15s, and 33s all over this, and I'm going to prove it to you. So, Team America World Police, released on October 15th, 2004. There's the first 15. And that's the Devil Tarot card. That's this right here. So whenever you hear 15, you just keep that in mind.
Did she see the movie? I'm guessing she hasn't seen it in like a decade, and she's just basing this off her vague recollections and YouTube clips she watched.
The tarot card, the devil. So let's talk some numbers real quick. So when I'm doing a decode, I like to plug the dates in. October 15th, 2004, dayoftheweek.org. This is the day this movie came.
To be fair, she's probably too young to understand it was actually being satire in that movie. I'm only 27. I understand it. How hard is it to understand?
Came out. October 15, 2004 was the 289th day of the year. In 2004 in the Gregorian calendar, there were 77 days left remaining until the end of the year. So when you see these numbers, you know, at first glance, it doesn't really seem like anything, but you just start adding them up, and then you get the numerological codes. So we've got the 8 plus 9 is 17, plus 2 is 19. There goes the 19. Then there were 77 days left remaining in the year. 77 is significant because the number 11 is the number of magic. So, you know.
77 is not the same number as 11, fun fact. They're completely different numbers. They're not even close to each other.
The most famous Satanist of the 20th century changed.
Is this going to be Aleister Crowley?
The spelling of the word magic to M-A-G-I-C-K, or just M-A-G-I-K, because K is the 11th letter of the alphabet. 11 times 7 is 77. 11 is...
What the fuck? Nick says, isn't numerology a sin in the Bible? I'm not sure.
Number of magic. So that's first where I like to start. When I'm doing any kind of decode, I like to look at the day the piece of production or programming release. It will always tell you a story. The 289th day of the year, that's 19 and 77. All right, so we can move on. Let's take a look here. The runtime of the movie was 98 minutes. You got 9 plus 8 is 17. 17 is what, ladies and gentlemen? 17th letter of the alphabet. That is the trump call. That's cute. And then the budget just so happened to be $32 million. May as well have been 33, but you know, you're enlightened once you hit 32 as well.
Look, it's not the number, but it's close enough, okay? So we're not even just counting numbers that they say are significant anymore. We're counting close enough. We're giving it a mulligan. That's a mulligan. It's close. That's a gimme.
You know, in the order of Freemasonry, the Scottish Rite Freemasonry, you know you're worshiping Lucifer at that point. You're about high enough. You up there. Yeah. So that's the release date. Let me see. I took some notes just so I won't run all over the place. Let me take a look. We did the runtime. We did the budget. Okay. I'm checking my notes. Oh, yeah. Okay. So here's another 19. As I was reading through the plot of the movie, there's a guy, the main character in the story is an actor. So the CIA hires this actor to infiltrate a terrorist unit, but the team that he joins is, you know, he's kind of skeptical of the guy because he doesn't like actors. And the reason why he doesn't like actors is because the cast of a musical called Cats gang raped him when he was 19 years old.
This woman seriously trying to, like, in a serious, semi-serious way, recount the plot of Team America World, please? It's art. Put this in a gallery. I need it. Lily Love Stuff says, meanwhile, when I go into magic and stuff, I did it just for fun, and when I talk like this, it's a joke. But I also went to a good public school and grew up in an atheist household.
There's a 19. The musical was called Cats. So when I saw the name of the musical, this made me think of Sex Kitten programming in MK Ultra.
They're making fun of Cats because Cats is one of the most successful Broadway musicals of all time, and one of its famous features is that they have actors in cat costumes come out into the audience and rub on you, and it's creepy. They're making fun of that.
And
I get not everyone is going to get, like, making fun of specific Broadway shows because it requires specific knowledge of those shows, but why are you talking about it if you clearly don't even get the joke? J.I. Lost says, it's art, put this in a gallery, I need it. That's what she said.
How they gang rape the women in Hollywood. That's what it made me think about. And he just so happened to be 19 years old. So there's another 19. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, but they can. All right, I think there was something else I want to say, y'all. I wrote all this stuff down. Yeah, we got that. So, after I look at a few things for the movie, I like to look at the people who are associated with the movie. The director of this movie is Trey Parker. I thought I looked that dude up too. Trey Parker. And look, his initials are TP. What ran out during the first wave of CV?
Truly, Trey Parker's parents named him specifically in order to reference toilet paper.
Toilet paper. TP. I just thought that was interesting.
He was born in 1969.
Interesting.
So, like, by her own logic, they'd been planning a toilet paper shortage in early 2020 since the late 60s. They were planning a toilet paper shortage 50 years in advance, and in order to preempt this, in 1969, a random kid was named Trey Parker to stand for TP, who would later go on to create South Park. This is what she is saying. Oh my god, Oliver. The cat's litter box is in here, and he used it. Oh god, what are you eating? God damn.
But yeah, anyway. So, when you look up anybody that has anything to do with any kind of programming production, look at their date of birth. That's where you start. This guy was born on October 19th, 1969. Yeah. So look at his date of birth though. October 19, 10/19, 1019. That's literally 9/11 backwards. Yep. It keeps going. So, he's currently 52 years old right now. 5 + 2 is 7. 7 is a pretty significant number in the Bible. He was born.
How does she think ages work? He's gonna be that age if he lives long enough, and he's gonna be it for a year, and then he's gonna be the next age. What? Okay, I'm done. I'm done with her. I'm moving on. Holy shit. I just can't with these people.
Welcome to my Harry Pot Trichome Tournament, where my goblet breathes fire when I enter the Dragon period without sugar. Right? I have here this new, refined Square Dance, THC 28.1%.
This is the guy that's way too high and does conspiracies.
Dumbbell. Shove it. Are you seeing this? Like in Free Guy? A med kit? A free life? A Eucharist?
Likey?
What the fuck is he talking about?
Today's subject, artificial intelligence and the hunt for quantum immortality, or being able to give something for supercomputers grows and gains quantum capability. That quantum capability will have the ability to grab the psychology and memory of somebody in humanity it chooses to be the one. Have you been included in this hunt for quantum immortality while the world's leaders in technology?
What the fuck? Midnight says, for the love of God, nobody show these people the movie Wag the Dog. Lily Love Stuff says, actually, last night I did get too high and watch Mud Fossil University. Exposed the cussy to my sister and friends. I hope you had a good time. Oh yeah, this is a guy who's affiliated with that negative, what's the guy's name? Negative 32 or negative 42, I don't remember his exact name. Michael Protzman, I think is his name, has that cult down in Texas that formed around the QAnon stuff. They were waiting for JFK and JFK Jr. to show up. Negative 48, thank you. And they're still down there, hanging out, doing cult stuff. He's affiliated with them in some way. I'm not entirely clear on exactly in what way, but he also has a channel, and all his videos are hidden, but I have access to them because he links them through his personal website, which I know about. So, let's take a look at this video where he thinks Lil Nas X has been executed. He has not, for the record.
Howdy, folks. Howdy, folks. Man, this is just one of those days I figured, why not come get some of this glorious glory? Why not? It's only right. You know, we've been putting this out. This came out a long time ago, probably in 2019. And Q leaked out.
Q on the bingo card. Q cited as a source.
This code here. When COVID-19 broke out, you know, we were told a long time ago, back when Trump came to, believe, New York City, and the military showed up down there, that they were using the COVID-19 pandemic for a cover.
No, they're not. No, they're not. None of this is true. This is conspiratorial nonsense.
The military arrest and for the rescue of the kids in the tunnel. So,
there are no kids in the tunnels. There are no tunnels. For those who don't know, these Q people believe that they're a secret, like, arrangement of tunnels, a network of tunnels under the United States and perhaps the world, where they are doing child trafficking and have a bunch of, like, children. And they think that, at least during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, these conspiracy theorists believed that the lockdowns were a pretense to keep people off the streets while Donald Trump and his people went into these tunnels and saved all the kids. It's as crazy as it sounds. They're nuts. Of course, none of that was true, because it's crazy. But some of them, I guess, are still holding on to that belief for some reason.
They were telling us this back then. They said we were crazy.
You're crazy now.
Just wanted to this is just one of those moments, you know, because Lil Nas X, you know, I call him Satan's most zealous bitch. I mean, he's so zealous for Satan. He really opened his cheeks. He really opened his cheeks for Satan, and
I mean, that is the music video. I've seen it.
He's really a lowlife. You know?
I'll have you know, he also killed Satan in that music video, so you should all be thanking him.
You know, a lot of these guys,
even Jesus didn't do that.
But he was just so zealous, and he led so many millions away from God, and he shook his fist in the face of God, and he just defied God.
Hydrate.
And looks like he's been executed based off of this code that we received from Q.
He's not. He's fine. Lil Nas X is off doing whatever he does. Writes music, hangs out with friends, whatever he does.
Now, most of you guys know this, but for those who don't know this, I think for the newbies, you need to check this out. And you need to understand this, because all these celebrities who are saying have COVID-19 either cooperating or they're getting executed. Now, look at this guy a little bit. Let's look at his little deal with Satan he made, Lil Nas X. But let's just read this real quick, because this is just so great, and it just brings me so much happiness and joy to know that they brought justice to that little demon, because what he was doing in America was really sick. And I don't think nobody...
He's openly just calling for, like, the execution of his enemies. I want to point out how messed up that is. Even though, of course, it's crazy what he believes. The fact that he even thinks this would be a good thing is nuts.
He's ever done it the way Lil Nas X has done it, in terms of just being belligerent and obnoxious about his Satanism. It's just disgusting.
I don't think he's a Satanist. He's literally just making fun of, like, Christianity and homophobes and stuff using satanic imagery.
I think this came out back in 2020, you know, when COVID-19 broke out, or 2019, I don't remember. But this was early, and Q put this out. Soon you will hear about certain high-profile people, celebrities, politicians, executives, elite billionaires, having coronavirus. And here are some of the code words to look for. If they're self-quarantined, that means that they're under house arrest, either under federal agent, guards, or ankle bracelets. So that was a lot of senators and congressmen and some of the actors.
And yet all the celebrities that have been either self-quarantined or whatever have since come out of that. Because they literally just were quarantining because of COVID.
Then he says self-quarantine, CV exposure, meaning they just got exposed. Means that they've been detained or they've been questioned by the authorities. And if they test negative for coronavirus, there's no confession.
Sybil Sauce, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. That's very generous of you. I appreciate that. Stone Corbell says, I'm so righteous, now let me cheer on someone being killed. Remember, wrath is a sin, even when it's just in your heart. Jesus said so. True. At least based on what the Bible says.
And so they are going to trial after worldwide mass arrest if convicted for...
Any day now, they think those mass arrests are going to kick in. Any day.
They're convicted, their reputation and legacy will be destroyed if they're convicted. But the one that we want to focus on is this one here. If they test positive for coronavirus, they've confessed and they've taken a deal, and their execution will be out of the public eye, and the execution will be portrayed as a suicide or some sort of accidental death. Their reputation and legacy will be preserved.
That's, like, the most effed up thing even to believe. Of course, as I already said, all of this is nonsense conspiracy theory gobbledygook that isn't true. But even if it were, imagine how dystopian it would be for some unilateral government entity to kidnap people, have them confess to a crime, execute them in secret, and hide that execution as some sort of, like, suicide or accidental death. Like, that's the kind of thing Vladimir Putin does to his political enemies. Has them, like, suicided or whatever, has them poisoned and make it look like an accident, have them fall out of a window. These are not things you should strive for. These are authoritarian, awful, horrifying things. Not to mention, the reason he wants this to happen to Lil Nas X is because he's a gay man who dare exist openly in media. Roland says, part of it was probably being controversial, but it's such uplifting video for young gay people fighting internalized hatred. My read, anyway. Yeah.
And so that's what we know about all the celebrities popping up with coronavirus. So that means that Lil Nas X is going to have a death pretty soon. And my guess is sometime in 2022, you know, they're going to announce that he died from a car accident, or he died from maybe coronavirus, or he's going to die from something, but he was truthfully executed. And I pray to God.
80% of Real Raw News is current headlines. Yeah, let's see what they... Actually, we haven't looked at them in a while. Real Real Raw News, which is a conspiracy website that literally just makes stuff up. Let me see. Oh, they're pro-Putin. Jesus Christ. Unsurprising. Yeah, it's saying people are hanged at Gitmo. This one saying that, like, Melinda, previously Melinda Gates, now Melinda Ann French's, being part of some military tribunal. Yeah, ridiculous. Claiming Trump is still the president and other bullshit.
It's one of my prayers.
J.I. Law says, Lil Nas X has been executed. It'll happen sometime this year. Yeah, the tenses are a bit screwed up, aren't they?
I want to see the face of these guilty men. I want to see them in their humility because, you know, we got to see them in their obnoxiousness and we got to see them in their just shaking their fist in the face of God and the face of everything that's righteous. I mean, he's just discussing and he's done it. And hold on, I'm going to show you something real quick. There's this article here. Hold on. This article, I want to share this with you. Very interesting article on Billboard.com. This little devil. It's crazy. It's interesting how they broke it down. You can tell this is Q. Of course, he was okay. It says sounds like Lil Nas X has COVID-19 on Friday, December 17th. The artist tweeted about having symptoms and that disturbed his.
It's currently February. Let's see Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X. What's he been up to lately since this happened in February? News. 1 day ago. How about just Twitter? I assume he's been on Twitter. He does Twitter a lot. So here's his Twitter. 7.5 million followers. Here are pictures of him at a concert recently and also on some sort of, like, night show with what's-his-face that laughs too much. Yeah, here he is at a show on December 5th.
Pleasurable Thursday night. And he says,
yeah, that's December.
COVID night. COVID really sucks. Last night I was trying to
still
watch
recovering
porn
from
and
COVID.
I sneezed snot all. It's just disgusting. I don't even want to say it. It's disgusting. And this happened on December 17th. His COVID revelations apparently came a little earlier in the afternoon after Barack Obama shared his list of favorite music in 2021. And we know Barack Obama's been arrested and tried.
Has he? Let's see what Obama's been up to. Obama. Let's see. Obama just had an interview published on Saturday. So no, he's not been arrested.
As well for treason against the United States. So we know that that's not true, you know. So this is total Q. This is the movie. That's
interesting. He has already predetermined that he thinks Obama has been arrested because he probably read it on Real Raw News or some other nonsense site. Therefore, when he sees an article that says and conflicts with what he already believes, he can't just say, oh, this is new evidence, maybe I was wrong about him being arrested. He has to concoct a narrative in which this new piece of information from a more legitimate news source is fake in order to preserve his preconceived conspiracy. Interesting. Not uncommon in conspiracy thinking, it's just interesting to see it that blatantly. You know, I love mac and cheese. You found out this and heard it's amazing. Let's see, Good Life mac and cheese. We have the cheddar, Monterey Jack cheese, and real butter. Okay. I'll take a look. If it's only at Walmart, I probably won't get it, because I don't even remember the last time I shopped at a Walmart. But
this is the movie. And so he said his COVID revelations apparently came a little early in the afternoon after Barack Obama, not President Barack Obama, you know, Barack Obama shared his list of favorite music in 2021, which included Lil Nas X, Montero, which is the video where he's like worshiping the devil, and
he's not worshiping the devil, he's fucking the devil before he kills him. Very different. J.I. Loss says, the logic you just described reeks of Petering Call. Yeah. Hannah said cheese. Yeah, that doesn't count, though, because I basically got tricked into saying it, and that's not cool. I've said before, if you try and trick me into saying it in chat, that doesn't count. I can't let that loophole go.
You know, he goes...
There was already a bingo winner today anyway, so it doesn't matter, but...
into hell, and...
Oh, you were kidding? Gotcha.
Gives the devil a lap dance and all this other crazy. It says, after the former president presented his playlist, the 22-year-old artist Obama's tweet, and added, started running around the house when I saw this, then I remembered I have COVID. LOL. Interesting. Now, he asked me, this is just all white hats putting this together. He followed that with, now that I'm sure I won't die from COVID, I will now begin making mildly funny jokes about having it. According to Uproxx, Lil Nas X also took the Omicron joke about the new variant, further writing,
why can none of them say Omicron?
I'm not sure whether I've had the Omarion or Alicia Keys variant, which is very interesting that they're throwing in Alicia Keys, because she's probably going to get snatched up too, if she hasn't already got snatched up. But this is where it gets a little interesting. The industry baby rapper's message comes within a week of his announcement that he had to pull out of the Capital FM's Jingle Ball show in the UK after unspecified members of his camp tested positive for COVID-19. So that means that they rounded up his whole satanic crew, and they've all been executed.
So he doesn't even just want, like, Lil Nas X executed for being someone he doesn't like. He wants everyone affiliated with him who's ever worked for him. That's insane. This is insanity.
Coldplay, which is another big band, and I guess you could say they're A-list. I mean, they got platinum records. Coldplay also had to cancel their Jingle Ball appearance for the same reason. They all got...
It's almost like there's a global pandemic. Weird.
COVID. Oh, they've all been arrested and executed.
Coldplay, that's probably fine.
Both acts have had members of their teams test positive for COVID-19 and therefore are not able to perform. Very interesting. Coldplay, Nas X, executed for ritual sex murder. Ritual sex murder, you know? And this kid, man, right here is such a devil. He is such a devil, man. I've never seen anything like this one right here. And so I just had to sell.
He clearly just doesn't like him because he's an openly gay musician who's, like, very open about being gay. Who cares? Grow up. Stone Corbell says, Ritual Sex Murder is the name of my black metal group. Nick says, yes, it's very interesting that stupid F-heads like you are causing the pandemic to get worse and cause all these cancellations.
Celebrate justice coming and Q justice coming. And the storm is here, and the event is around the corner, probably just days away. But
it's always a few days away. Isn't that funny?
Quite interesting, isn't it?
It's always next Sunday AD. That's always when the storm is coming.
Another thing that's interesting is he made a deal with a company called Mischief.
We can talk about the
and
shoes.
They released this shoe.
We've seen the gosh damn shoe. Alright, I'm done with this asshole. We get it. You want people you disagree with killed. You're a monster. We understand. Alright. Isn't Q stuff banned on YouTube? I'm pretty sure it is. He has his videos unlisted, which is probably why he's getting away with it. Alright, let's see who we're gonna raid. It's been 3 hours. I'm hungry. I'm tired. Yeah, tomorrow we might have to cover CPAC. Looks like Jake's doing it today. We will raid Jake. Alright. Have a good evening, everyone. I will see you... Oops. I will see you tomorrow. Wow, my gloves are making it hard to type. There we go. I will see you tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thanks for coming to Tinfoil Tuesday. And that's about it. I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye.